2022 Q1. Describe the characteristics and types of primary rocks. 150 words, 10 marks. Answer. Approach. Introduction. Briefly define the primary rock. Body. Mention characteristics and types of primary rocks. Conclusion. Conclude your answer with the importance of primary rock. Introduction. Primary rock, also known as igneous rock, is formed through the solidification of molten material, such as magma or lava. It is characterized by its crystalline structure and diverse mineral composition. Primary rocks provide valuable insights into the Earth's geological history and are essential components of the rock cycle. Body. Type of primary rock. Granite, a coarse-grained intrusive rock composed of quartz, feldspar, and mica, widely used in construction. Basalt, a fine-grained extrusive rock rich in iron and magnesium, commonly found in volcanic areas and used in road construction. Obsidian, a volcanic glass formed from rapidly cooled lava, used for decorative purposes and as a cutting tool in ancient civilizations. Characteristics of primary rocks. Formation. Primary rocks are formed through the solidification and crystallization of molten magma or lava. They are the first rocks to be formed in the Earth's crust. Mineral composition. Primary rocks are typically composed of minerals such as quartz, feldspar, mica, and amphibole. The specific minerals present in a primary rock depend on the chemical composition of the original magma. Texture. Primary rocks exhibit a variety of textures, ranging from fine-grained to coarse-grained. The texture is determined by the rate of cooling of the magma. Rapid cooling results in fine-grained rocks, while slow cooling leads to coarse-grained rocks. Crystal size. Primary rocks often contain large, well-formed crystals due to the slow cooling process. These crystals are visible to the naked eye and can provide valuable information about the rock's formation history. Interlocking structure. Primary rocks typically have an interlocking crystalline structure, where individual mineral grains are tightly interconnected. This structure enhances the rock's strength and durability. Lack of fossils. Primary rocks are formed from molten material and do not contain any fossils or organic remains. They are generally devoid of any evidence of past life forms. Intrusive and extrusive forms. Primary rocks can exist in two main forms: intrusive and extrusive. Intrusive rocks cool and solidify beneath the Earth's surface, resulting in larger crystal sizes. Extrusive rocks, on the other hand, cool rapidly at or near the Earth's surface, leading to smaller crystal sizes. Geological significance. Primary rocks provide valuable insights into the Earth's geological processes and history. They can help in determining the origin of mountain ranges, volcanic activity, and the evolution of the Earth's crust. Conclusion. Primary rocks are an essential component of the Earth's crust, and they play a vital role in understanding the geological history of the planet. Primary rocks can provide valuable insights into the formation of the Earth and the processes that have shaped the planet over time. Q2. Discuss the meaning of color-coded weather warnings for cyclone-prone areas given by India Meteorological Department. 150 words, 10 marks. Answer. 158 Approach. Introduction. Briefly mention the functions of India Meteorological Department, IMD. Body. Discuss the color-coded warnings issued by the IMD for cyclones. Conclusion. Conclude your answer with a futuristic approach. Introduction. India Meteorological Department, IMD, issues color-coded weather warnings for cyclone-prone areas in India to alert people about the potential danger from cyclones. These color codes represent the intensity of the cyclone and the likely impact on people and property in the affected areas. Body. Color-coded warnings issued by the IMD for cyclones. Green. All is well. This is the least severe warning and indicates that there is no immediate danger. It is issued when a cyclone is expected to form in the coming days, but is not yet close to the affected area. Yellow. Be aware this warning is issued when a cyclone is likely to hit the affected area in the next few days. It indicates that people should be cautious and take necessary precautions. Orange/amber. Be prepared. This warning is issued when a cyclone is expected to hit the affected area in the next 24 hours. It indicates that people should take all necessary precautions and be prepared for the worst. Red. Take action. This is the most severe warning and is issued when a cyclone is expected to hit the affected area within the next few hours. It indicates that people should take immediate action to protect themselves and their property. Conclusion. The IMD also provides detailed information on the potential impact of the cyclone, such as wind speed, rainfall, storm surge, and flooding, along with the warning. The color-coded weather warnings issued by the IMD for cyclone-prone areas in India are an important tool to alert people about the potential danger from cyclones and to help them take necessary precautions to protect themselves and their property. Q3. Discuss the natural resource potentials of Deccan Trap. 150 words, 10 marks answer, approach. Introduction. Write about Deccan Trap in brief. Body. Write about the significant natural resources found in the Deccan Trap. Conclusion. Conclude your answer with the importance of Deccan Trap. Introduction. The Deccan Trap is a large volcanic feature located in west-central India. It has several natural resources that are economically valuable. 159 Body. Natural resources found in the Deccan Trap. Minerals. The Deccan Traps have rich deposits of minerals such as iron, manganese, copper, and gold. These minerals are essential raw materials for various industries, including construction, manufacturing, and electronics. Coal. The Deccan Traps have significant reserves of coal, which is used for power generation and various industries. Oil and natural gas. National Geophysical Research Institute, NGRI, has found the reserve presence of oil and natural gas in the Deccan region that spreads over a vast area including part of Karnataka, Telangana, and Maharashtra. Geothermal energy. It is the source of many springs. The springs in places like Sativli, Mandangad, Urvali, and Janari, Rajapur, and others form a cluster of hot springs found in these rock formations, hydroelectric power. The Godavari and Krishna rivers originate in the Western Ghats, have the potential to generate hydroelectric power. Agricultural land. The fertile soil of the Deccan Trap is ideal for agriculture, and the region is a major producer of crops such as cotton, sugarcane, and tobacco. Timber and medicinal plants. The forests of the Western Ghats are rich in timber and medicinal plants, which can be used for various purposes, including traditional medicine, construction, and furniture making. Conclusion. Deccan Traps is a region with diverse natural resources, which can contribute to the economic development of the region and the country. It is important to ensure that the exploitation of these resources is done in a sustainable and responsible manner to minimize their environmental impact and preserve them for future generations. Q4. Examine the potential of wind energy in India and explain the reasons for their limited spatial spread. 150 words, 10 marks answer, approach. Introduction. Discuss the potential of wind energy in India. Body. Discuss the limited spatial spread of wind energy in India. Conclusion. Conclude your answer with a futuristic approach. Introduction. India is the world's fourth largest country in terms of total wind installations after China, the USA, and Germany. India has a manufacturing base of about 10 gigawatts per annum. The total installed wind capacity in India is 40.8 gigawatts as of June 30th, 2022. States like Tamil Nadu, Gujarat, 160 Karnataka, and Maharashtra were the leading markets for wind, accounting for 72.3% of the cumulative capacity. Body. Reasons for the limited spatial spread of wind energy. 1. Land availability. Wind turbines require large tracts of land. Acquiring land becomes challenging and time-consuming due to issues related to land ownership, local regulations, and environmental concerns. 2. Transmission infrastructure. Wind energy projects require adequate transmission infrastructure to transport the electricity from the project site to the grid. The existing transmission infrastructure in India is often inadequate, leading to grid congestion and curtailment of wind power generation. E.G. The nation is on a clear and achievable path towards its renewable energy target of 275 gigawatts GW by 2026-27. 3. Financing. The high capital costs associated with wind energy projects often make it challenging for developers to secure financing. Lack of a supportive regulatory framework, including feed-in tariffs and other incentives, can discourage private investment in wind energy. G. India aims to achieve 60 gigawatts of wind power by 2022, necessitating a doubling of the current deployment rate. 4. Political and regulatory challenges. The development of wind energy projects in India is often hindered by political and regulatory challenges, including bureaucratic delays, corruption, and a lack of clear policy directives. 5. Environmental issues. Killing of birds by turbines or fans of wind projects. E.G. The great Indian bustard, an endangered bird, has been affected by wind turbines in the Kutch region. Conclusion: India to overcome these limitations and promote the development of wind energy projects. Government has implemented a national wind energy policy to encourage private investment in wind energy, and it has initiatives to improve the transmission infrastructure in the country. India is continuously moving towards complying with its climate change commitments under the Paris Agreement, COP21. Q5. What are the forces that influence ocean currents? Describe their role in the fishing industry of the world. 250 words, 15 marks. Answer. Approach. Introduction. Write about ocean current in brief. Body. Mention the forces that influence ocean currents. Write about the impact of ocean current on the fishing industry. Conclusion. Conclude your answer with the importance of ocean current with a futuristic approach. 161 Introduction. Ocean currents are the continuous, directed movements of seawater. They play an essential role in the Earth's climate and weather patterns, as well as in the distribution of marine life. Body. Forces influence ocean currents. Wind. Wind is one of the primary forces that drive ocean currents. The direction and intensity of the wind determine the direction and speed of the currents. Temperature. Differences in water temperature between different regions of the ocean create density gradients, which drive the movement of water. Salinity. Variations in salinity levels also create density gradients, which affect the movement of water. Earth rotation. The Coriolis effect, which is the result of the Earth's rotation, causes ocean currents to move in a clockwise direction in the northern hemisphere and a counterclockwise direction in the southern hemisphere. Atmospheric pressure. Differences in air pressure can affect ocean currents by changing the direction and intensity of the wind. The fishing industry is heavily dependent on ocean currents as they affect the distribution and abundance of fish stocks. Fish industries develop at the junction or meeting point of cold and warm currents, as there is large concentration of phytoplanktons. Examples: near the coast of Japan. Fish tend to concentrate in areas with favorable environmental conditions, such as areas with abundant food, oxygen, and suitable temperature and salinity levels. Ocean currents play a significant role in the distribution of these favorable conditions, which affect the spread and abundance of fish stocks, like Gulf Stream. Ocean currents maintain ecological balance by transferring water to areas of less oceanic current and having low fish population to maintain oxygen level and fish in the deficit area. Like N, equatorial current. Fishing boats and fleets use ocean currents to track and locate fish, which helps to increase their catch rates. Like N, Atlantic drift. Conclusion. Ocean currents are driven by various forces. Ocean currents play a critical role in Earth climate and weather patterns, as well as in the distribution of marine life. It is essential to understand and monitor ocean currents to ensure sustainable fishing practices and the long-term health of marine ecosystems. 162 Q6. Describing the distribution of rubber-producing countries, indicate the major environmental issues faced by them. 250 words, 15 marks. Answer. Approach. Introduction. Write about the distribution of rubber-producing countries in world. Body. Discuss the major environmental issues faced by rubber-producing countries. Conclusion. Conclude your answer with a futuristic approach. Introduction. Natural rubber is a polymer of isoprene, an organic compound. Thailand is the largest producer of rubber in the world, followed by Indonesia, Vietnam, Brazil, India, and China. These nations are located in tropical regions. Their climate is warm and humid, which is ideal for growing rubber trees. Body. Major environmental issues faced by these countries. Deforestation. The rubber industry has led to the conversion of large areas of natural forests into rubber plantations. This deforestation has caused the loss of biodiversity and habitats of many species, contributing to the decline of their populations. E.G. Brazil's soil degradation. The cultivation of rubber trees on a large scale has led to soil degradation, causing a decline in soil fertility and productivity. The extensive use of pesticides, herbicides, and fertilizers has also polluted soil and water resources. E.G. Venezuela. Water pollution. The rubber industry uses significant amounts of water for irrigation, which can lead to the depletion of water resources and the pollution of water bodies due to the discharge of agrochemicals. E.G. Peru. Climate change. The rubber industry contributes to climate change by releasing greenhouse gases, primarily through deforestation, land use change, and the use of fossil fuels for transportation. E.G. Brazil labor and human rights issues. The rubber industry is associated with labor and human rights violations, including exploitation of workers, child labor, and land grabbing from indigenous communities. Conclusion: the rubber industry is an important economic sector for several countries, but it is associated with significant environmental issues. WWF's goal is to have the majority of companies that produce and use rubber commit to sustainably and ethically produced rubber. Q7. Mention the significance of straits and isthmus in international trade. 250 words, 15 marks answer. 163 approach. Introduction. Start your answer with strait and isthmus. Body. Mention the significant roles of strait and isthmus in international trade. Conclusion. Conclude your answer with the importance of straits and isthmuses. Introduction. Strait and isthmus are narrow passages of water and land, respectively, which have played a crucial role in international trade for centuries. These natural features have helped connect various regions of the world, facilitating the movement of goods and people. Like Malacca Strait, Gibraltar Strait. Body. Significance role of straits and isthmus in international trade. Reduced distance. Straits and isthmuses reduce the distance between regions, making transportation of goods and people more efficient. Like the Suez Canal on the Isthmus of Suez prevents the circumvention of Africa by ship for trade between Europe and Asia. Ports and harbors. Straits and isthmuses often have natural ports and harbors, providing easy access to the sea and facilitating trade. Like Malacca Strait revolutionized shipping. Straits and isthmuses have revolutionized the shipping industry, allowing for more efficient transportation and reducing the time and cost of shipping goods. Connectivity. Straits and isthmuses connect different regions of the world, providing access to markets, resources, and people. Like the Panama Canal on Isthmus connects Atlantic and Pacific Oceans. Bridge between demand and supply. Straits and isthmuses provide a bridge between the demand and supply of commodities, facilitating trade and economic growth. Environmentally friendly shipping. Straits and isthmuses provide environmentally friendly shipping options, reducing the carbon footprint of transportation and promoting sustainable trade practices. Tourism and international trade. Straits and isthmuses provide opportunities for international trade and tourism services, promoting economic growth and development. Marine products. Straits and isthmuses provide good grounds for fishing and aquaculture, promoting international trade in marine products. Strategic importance. Straits and isthmuses have strategic importance, providing security from piracy and other threats, which is essential for international trade. Conclusion. Straits and isthmuses play an essential role in international trade, providing access to markets, resources, and people. They have provided opportunities for tourism and international trade in marine products, and are essential for maintaining global economic growth and development. 2021 Q1. Briefly mention the alignment of major mountain ranges of the world and explain their impact on local weather conditions, with examples. 250 words, 15 marks answer. Approach. Introduction. Briefly define the mountain ranges and its characteristics. Body. Mention some mountain ranges of the world and its climate influence on local weather and climate. A conclusion. Conclude your answer with the importance of the mountain ranges. Introduction. The major mountain ranges of the world are aligned along tectonic plate boundaries, where the movement of the Earth's crust has resulted in the formation of large mountainous regions. The alignment of these mountain ranges can have a significant impact on local weather conditions, influencing temperature, precipitation, and wind patterns. 164 Body. Mountain ranges and its climatic influence. There are several important mountain ranges around the world that have significant climate influences on local weather and climate. Here are some examples. The Himalayas. It is located in Asia, the highest mountain range in the world. The Himalayas act as a barrier, preventing the movement of cold air from the north. Protect from harsh winters. Influence the monsoon winds that bring rainfall to India and other surrounding countries. The Andes. It is located in South America, the longest mountain range in the world. The Andes act as a barrier, preventing the movement of moisture from the east and influencing the precipitation patterns in the region. It acts as a rain shadow zone for Atacama deserts. The Andes have an impact on the temperature and rainfall patterns in neighboring countries such as Argentina, Chile, and Peru. The Rocky Mountains. It is located in North America. The Rockies influence the movement of air masses, causing them to rise and cool, leading to increased precipitation on the western slopes and a rain-shadow effect on the eastern slopes. They capture the moisturized winds from the Pacific and cause large amount of rainfall in its windward side. They also give a rain-shadow effect to the deserts in southwest North America. The Alps located in Europe. It acts as a barrier, preventing the movement of cold air from the north and influencing the precipitation patterns in the region. The Alps have a significant impact on the temperature and rainfall patterns in neighboring countries such as France, Switzerland, and Italy. Alps influence the presence and direction of local winds like Föhn, Mistral, etc. Conclusion: mountain ranges play a crucial role in shaping local weather, climate patterns, impacts on temperature, precipitation, and wind patterns, which can in turn have significant impacts on agriculture, water resources, and other aspects of local ecosystems and human societies. Therefore, understanding the impacts of mountain ranges on local weather and climate is important for managing natural resources and mitigating the impacts of climate change. 165Q2. Answer: differentiate the causes of landslides in the Himalayan region and Western Ghat. 150 words, 10 marks approach. Introduction: briefly define landslides and causes of landslides. Body: mention some of the causes which are associated with the particular region. A conclusion: conclude your answer with summary of the answer. Introduction: a landslide is a natural disaster that occurs when a mass of earth or rock suddenly moves downhill under the influence of gravity. It is common in many regions around the world, including the Himalayan region and the Western Ghats of India. Body: causes of landslides in the Himalayan region. Geological causes. The Himalayan region is a seismically active zone due to the collision of the Indian and Eurasian tectonic plates. This collision has resulted in the formation of steep slopes and unstable rock formations, making the region highly susceptible to landslides. E.GSOM. Earthquakes in the region also result in landslides. Climatic causes. The Himalayan region experiences heavy rainfall during the monsoon season, which can saturate the soil and rock formations, leading to landslides. The region is also prone to flash floods, which can trigger landslides by eroding the soil and destabilizing slopes. The 2013 Uttarakhand landslides were triggered by heavy rainfall and cloudbursts, causing flash floods and landslides that killed over 5,000 people and damaged infrastructure in the region. Human causes: deforestation, mining activities, and road construction can weaken the soil and rock formations, making the slopes more vulnerable to landslides. Mining in Uttarakhand. Causes of landslides in the Western Ghats. Geographical causes. The Western Ghats are characterized by steep slopes and high rainfall, which can lead to the erosion of the soil and rock formations, causing landslides. Climatic causes. The region experiences heavy rainfall during the monsoon season, which can saturate the soil and rock formations, making them more prone to landslides. 166 Human causes. Human activities such as deforestation, construction of buildings and roads, and mining can weaken the soil and rock formations, making the slopes more vulnerable to landslides. In August 2021, Kerala witnessed landslides in the hilly district of Idukki due to heavy rainfall, which caused severe damage to property and claimed several lives. In July 2021, the Mahad region of Maharashtra was hit by landslides triggered by heavy rainfall, leading to the loss of several lives and damaging infrastructure in the area. Conclusion: landslides are caused by a combination of geological, climatic, and human factors. The causes of landslides in the Himalayan region and the Western Ghats are different due to their distinct geographical and geological features. Q3. Discuss the multi-dimension implications of uneven distribution of mineral oil in the world. 250 words, 15 marks. Answer. Approach. Introduction. Explaining the uneven distribution of mineral oil. Body. Mention some implication that the uneven distribution of mineral oil. Conclusion. Conclude your answer with significant multi-dimensional implications of mineral oil. Introduction. The uneven distribution of mineral oil in the world. Slightly less than half of the world's proven reserves are located in the Middle East, including Iran but not North Africa. Following the Middle East are Canada and the United States, Latin America, Africa, and the region made up of Russia, Kazakhstan, and other countries that were once part of the Soviet Union. Body. The uneven distribution of mineral oil around the world has various implications that affect different dimensions, including economic, political, environmental, and social aspects. Economic implications. Dependence on oil exports. Countries with significant oil reserves tend to depend heavily on oil exports, which can make their economies vulnerable to price fluctuations, supply disruptions, and changes in global demand. Resource curse. Countries that depend solely on oil exports may experience the resource curse, where the abundance of natural resources can lead to corruption, economic mismanagement, and social instability. Unequal distribution of wealth. The unequal distribution of oil wealth can lead to income inequality and exacerbate social tensions within countries. Political implications. Geopolitical tensions. The control and ownership of oil reserves can be a source of geopolitical tensions and conflicts between countries. Countries with significant oil reserves may use oil as a tool of foreign policy, by withholding exports or using oil revenues to support political allies or proxies, leading to power imbalances and political instability. Influence on international relations. The unequal distribution of oil can create power imbalances in international relations, with countries with significant reserves of oil having greater bargaining power than those without. Environmental implications. Environmental degradation. The extraction, production, and use of mineral oil can lead to environmental degradation, such as air and water pollution, greenhouse gas emissions, and land degradation. Climate change. The continued use of fossil fuels due to an uneven distribution of mineral oil can exacerbate climate change and environmental problems, leading to long-term environmental consequences. Social implications. Health and safety hazards. Communities living in proximity to oil extraction and production facilities may experience health and safety hazards due to exposure to pollution, accidents, and other risks. 167. Social inequality. The unequal distribution of oil wealth can exacerbate income inequality and lead to social unrest within countries. Conclusion. The uneven distribution of mineral oil in the world has significant multi-dimensional implications for the global economy, geopolitics, and the environment. As the world continues to rely heavily on mineral oil, it is important to consider the long-term implications of this reliance and work towards finding sustainable alternatives. Q4. Despite India being one of the countries of Gondwanaland, its mining industry contributes much less to its gross domestic products, GDP, in percentage. Discuss. 150 words, 10 marks answer, approach. Introduction. Explaining contribution of the mining sector in India GDP. Body. Mention reasons behind this less percentage of contribution. A conclusion. Significance of mining industry with government approach. Introduction. India is one of the countries of the ancient supercontinent Gondwanaland, which is known for its rich mineral deposits. Mining sector is an important contributor to India's economy, with its contribution to India's gross domestic product, GDP, ranging from 2.3% to 2.9% over the last decade. Body. The mining sector in India has historically contributed a relatively low percentage to the country's gross domestic product, GDP, compared to other sectors. Reasons for low contribution: modernization and technological advancements. The mining industry in India is predominantly carried out by small-scale miners who use outdated technology and equipment, resulting in low productivity and efficiency. The lack of modernization and technology also hinders the exploration and extraction of minerals in the country. E.G. Jharkhand. Labor laws framework. The mining industry in India is subject to various regulations, including environmental and labor laws, which can make it difficult for companies to operate efficiently. Complex regulatory framework. Obtaining permits and approvals for mining activities can be a cumbersome and time-consuming process, leading to delays and reduced productivity. Slow pace of land acquisition. Land acquisition in India is a complex and time-consuming process, and the mining industry often faces challenges in acquiring land for its activities. 168. This can lead to delays in the implementation of mining projects, resulting in lower productivity and output. Lack of investment. The mining sector requires significant investment in exploration, technology, and infrastructure, which can be a deterrent for investors. The lack of investment also affects the value addition in the sector, leading to the export of raw minerals without processing them, which reduces their value and contribution to India's economy. Conclusion. India's mining industry has significant potential to contribute to the country's economy given its rich mineral deposits. The government needs to address these challenges and create a conducive environment for investment in the sector. Technology upgradation, skill development, and sustainable mining practices can help enhance the mining sector's contribution to India's GDP and overall economic growth. Q5. How do the melting of the Arctic ice and glaciers of an Antarctic differently affect the weather patterns and human activities on the Earth? Explain. 250 words, 15 marks. Answer. Approach. Introduction. Briefly write the causes of melting of Arctic sea and glaciers of the Antarctic. Body. Discuss the melting of glaciers affects human activities and weather patterns on the Earth. Conclusion. Conclude your answer with measures to conserve glaciers. Introduction. Melting glaciers are a significant concern for the future of our planet, and human activities are the primary cause of this phenomenon. The melting of Arctic and Antarctic glaciers is a severe global issue that requires immediate action to mitigate its consequences. Consequences of melting Arctic ice, affecting sea level and salinity. The melting of Arctic ice will affect sea levels, salinity levels, and current and precipitation patterns, causing significant impacts on coastal communities and small island nations. Coastal communities are in danger. The rising sea level is a threat to coastal cities and small island nations, exacerbating coastal flooding and storm surge. Food security at risk. Unpredictable weather patterns caused by ice loss are already causing significant damage to crops on which global food systems depend. Methane store is at risk. Permafrost in the Arctic region stores large amounts of methane, a greenhouse gas that contributes to climate change. Biodiversity threatened. The melting of the Arctic ice puts the region's vibrant biodiversity under serious threat, especially in the mid-latitude. Consequences of melting Antarctic glaciers. Rising sea level. Antarctic ice sheets are the largest contributors to global sea level rise, leading to coastal erosion. Climate change. The warming of Antarctic circumpolar current can aggravate the effects of global warming. Loss of species. Many land and sea animals rely on glaciers as their natural habitats, and as they disappear, so does the rich ecological life they shelter. Disrupting ocean currents. Melting of Antarctic glaciers will lead to slowing of Atlantic meridional overturning circulation, disrupting Gulf Stream and impacting west wind drift. Conclusion. The melting of glaciers has significant implications for the weather patterns and human activities on the Earth. Climate change is the primary driver of glacier melting, and reducing greenhouse gas emissions is critical to mitigating its impacts. It is essential to adopt sustainable practices to reduce the impact of melting glaciers on the environment. We should adopt measures to conserve water resources, protect biodiversity. 169Q6. Mention the global occurrence of volcanic eruptions in 2021 and their impact on the regional environment. 150 words, 10 marks. Answer. Approach. Introduction. Briefly defining what is volcano and their occurrence at global level. Body. Some of the examples of volcanic eruptions. Discuss the impact of volcanic eruption on the environment. Conclusion. Mention significant importance of volcanic eruption. Introduction. Volcanic eruptions are a natural phenomenon that can have significant impacts on the environment and society. In 2021, several volcanic eruptions occurred around the world, which had varying impacts on the regional environment. Body. Mount Sinabung Volcano, Indonesia. Klyachevskoy Volcano, Russia. Far Eastern Kamchatka Peninsula. Fornaise Volcano, Reunion. Mount Etna, Italy. Erebus, Antarctica. Significant impacts of volcanic eruptions. Air quality. Volcanic eruptions release fine particles into the air, such as ash and aerosols, which can lead to reduced visibility, crop damage, and other environmental impacts. Climate. The gases and particles released by eruptions can block sunlight, causing cooling of the Earth's surface. This can lead to changes in weather patterns, including changes in rainfall and temperature. Volcanic eruptions contribute to global climate change by releasing large amounts of greenhouse gases into the atmosphere. Ecosystems. Eruptions can cause physical damage to ecosystems, such as burying plants and animals under ash and lava flows. They can also cause toxic gases to be released into the environment, which can kill plants and animals. Volcanic eruptions can change the soil chemistry, making it difficult for plants to grow and affecting aquatic life also. Human health. The gases and particles released by eruptions can cause respiratory problems, such as asthma and bronchitis. They can also cause eye irritation and skin irritation. Conclusion: the occurrence of volcanic eruptions in 2021 had varying impacts that can be both short-term and long-term and can vary depending on the size and location of the eruption on the environment and society. There is a need for continued monitoring and preparedness for volcanic eruptions. While volcanic eruptions can have devastating impacts, they can also provide benefits, such as creating new land and geothermal energy resources. 170Q7. What are the environmental implications of the reclamation of water bodies into urban land use? Explain with examples. 150-word, 10 marks answer, approach. Introduction. Explaining the process of land reclamation and its needs body. Explain land reclamation implication on environment. Conclusion. Conclude your answer with environmental implications. Introduction. Land reclamation is the process of creating new land from areas that were previously underwater or otherwise unusable. This process is usually undertaken for agricultural, industrial, or residential development purposes. River in India body. Loss of biodiversity. Water bodies are home to a diverse range of aquatic and semi-aquatic species. Reclaiming these areas for urban development can result in the loss of habitats and the displacement of wildlife. This can have significant ecological impacts and affect the food chain and the ecosystem. Like Dal Lake in Srinagar. Water quality. Reclaimed water bodies can become polluted due to urban runoff, sewage, and other sources of contamination. This can lead to a decline in water quality, which can have negative impacts on aquatic life and human health. Like Kum River and Sabarmati flood control. Water bodies serve an important role in flood control by absorbing excess water during heavy rains. Reclamation can disrupt this function and increase the risk of climate change. Reclaiming water bodies can contribute to climate change by reducing the amount of carbon stored in the ecosystem. Water bodies store large amounts of carbon, and their destruction can lead to the release of this carbon into the atmosphere. Climate change has also been implicated in the decline of amphibians in tropical forests. Environmental hazards. Disasters are created by negligence towards the natural and flooding in urban areas. Mumbai and Bangkok. Social contexts of infrastructure projects. Water reclamation for urban land use in the coastal areas may increase the incidence of earthquakes, etc. Conclusion. The reclamation of water bodies into urban land use can have significant environmental implications, including the loss of biodiversity, water quality degradation, increased flood risk, and climate change. Q8. How will the melting of Himalayas glaciers have a far-reaching impact on the water resources of India? 150 words, 10 marks answer, approach. Introduction. Start your answer with a brief about the Himalayas. Body. Discuss the melting of Himalayan glaciers could impact the water resources. A conclusion. Conclude your answer with the importance of the Himalayas. Introduction. The Himalayas are one of the most significant mountain ranges in the world, with an estimated height of over 8,849 meters. The melting of glaciers in the Himalayas is a cause of concern for India's water resources. As the source of many major rivers, including the Ganges, Brahmaputra, and Indus, the melting of Himalayan glaciers can have far-reaching impacts on water availability, irrigation, hydropower generation, and socio-economic development in the region. Body. The melting of Himalayan glaciers could impact the water resources, increase in river flows. The melting of glaciers can lead to an increase in the volume and intensity of river flows, which can cause flash floods and landslides. E.g., Ganga-Brahmaputra Meghna Basin, population over 700 million people, 2022. Impact on monsoon. The Himalayas exerts a significant influence on seasonal shifts in the monsoon circulation and the distribution of rainfall in India. 171, according to IPCC projections, the melting of glaciers could indicate a likely increase in summer rainfall by 412% in the near term and 425% in the long term. The southwest monsoon accounts for 70% of the annual rainfall in India. Changing monsoon patterns, including increased severity and frequency of storms, could lead to mountain hazards that may destroy critical infrastructure. Impact on agriculture. The melting of Himalayan glaciers could affect the availability of water for irrigation, which could lead to a decline in crop yields and a significant impact on the livelihoods of farmers. Impact on hydropower generation. Changes in the flow of water in rivers could affect the efficiency and reliability of hydropower plants, which could lead to power shortages and disruptions. Conclusion: the Himalayas are of immense importance to the people who rely on their resources for their livelihood. The melting of the glaciers in this region has already begun to impact us severely. It is important to take measures to mitigate the effects of climate change on the Himalayan glaciers and ensure the sustainable use of these resources for future generations. 2020 Q1. Discuss the geophysical characteristic of the Circum-Pacific Zone. 150 words, 10 marks. Answer. Approach. Introduction. Write briefly about the Circum-Pacific Zone. Body. Mention the salient geophysical characteristics of Circum-Pacific Zone. Conclusion. Conclude your answer with a futuristic approach. Introduction. The Circum-Pacific Zone, also known as the Ring of Fire, is a region surrounding the Pacific Ocean characterized by high seismic and volcanic activity. Body. Characteristics of Circum-Pacific Zone. Formation. The Circum-Pacific Zone was formed by the subduction of oceanic plates beneath the continents and islands surrounding the Pacific Ocean, resulting in volcanic activity and seismic activity. Location. The Circum-Pacific Zone is a nearly continuous chain of volcanoes that surrounds the Pacific Ocean, passing along the west coast of North and South America, Asia, and Oceania. Formation of hotspot. The formation of hotspots in the Circum-Pacific Zone is facilitated by the rising of heat from areas deep within the Earth's mantle, which causes the melting of rock in the upper portion of the mantle. This melted rock, called magma, often pushes through the crust to form volcanoes. Volcanoes and earthquakes. The Circum-Pacific Zone is home to more than 75% of Earth's volcanoes, including famous ones like Mount Fuji in Japan and Krakatoa in Indonesia. It 172 also experiences around 90% of the world's earthquakes, including some of the most powerful ones in history, due to its location along tectonic plate boundaries. Conclusion. Geophysical characteristics of the Circum-Pacific Zone make it a region of significant geological activity and hazards, including earthquakes, volcanic eruptions, and tsunamis. These characteristics are essential for ensuring the safety and resilience of the communities living in this region. Q2. The interlinking of rivers can provide viable solutions to the multidimensional interrelated problems of droughts, floods, and interrupted navigation. Critically examine. 150 words, 10 marks. Answer. Approach. Introduction. Discuss the motive of interlinking of rivers. Body. Discuss pros and cons of interlinking rivers. Conclusion. Conclude your answer with a futuristic approach. Introduction. The interlinking of rivers aims to connect the rivers and reduce the imbalance between water-scarce and water-surplus regions. It generates hydropower, provides irrigation facilities, and improves the navigability of rivers. Body. Pros of interlinking of rivers. Improved water management. Interlinking of rivers aims to improve the management of water resources in India, reducing water scarcity and ensuring better utilization of water. Example: the Ken-Betwa River Interlinking Project in Madhya Pradesh aims to transfer water from the Ken River Basin to the Betwa River Basin, providing irrigation facilities to farmers in the water-scarce region. Hydroelectric power. Interlinking of rivers will provide an opportunity to generate hydropower, renewable and clean sources of energy. Example: the Damanganga-Pinjal River Interlinking Project in Maharashtra and Gujarat aims to generate 1,775 megawatts of hydropower. 173 Agriculture. Interlinking of rivers aims to provide irrigation facilities to farmers, leading to increased agricultural production and better crop yields. Example: the Godavari-Kaveri River Interlinking Project in southern India aims to provide irrigation facilities to over 35 million hectares of land. Navigation. Interlinking of rivers will improve the navigability of rivers and promote inland waterways transportation. Example: the proposed National Waterway 4 will connect the Godavari and Krishna rivers, improving transportation and promoting trade. Cons of interlinking of rivers. Environmental concerns. Interlinking of rivers can have adverse environmental impacts, like loss of biodiversity, loss of wetlands, and fragmentation of river ecosystems. Example: the proposed Ken-Betwa River Interlinking Project may result in the submergence of around 4,000 hectares of forest land and affect the Punna Tiger Reserve. Cost. Interlinking of rivers is a massive project and requires significant investment. It may also lead to cost overruns, leading to economic inefficiencies. Example: the estimated cost of the Godavari-Kaveri River interlinking project is over 60,000 rupees crore, and it may require significant government subsidies and funding. Displacement. Interlinking of rivers may lead to the displacement of people, causing social and economic upheaval. Example: the proposed Damanganga-Pinjal River interlinking project may displace around 11,000 people from their homes and livelihoods. Interstate conflicts. Interlinking of rivers may lead to interstate conflicts over water allocation and usage. Example: the proposed Ken-Betwa River interlinking project has faced opposition from the Uttar Pradesh government, which is concerned about the allocation of water from the project to Madhya Pradesh. Tension with neighboring countries. The proposed interlinking of rivers may also lead to tension with neighboring countries, particularly lower riparian states. Example: the proposed interlinking of rivers may affect the water flow of the Brahmaputra River, which may lead to tension with China and Bangladesh. Conclusion: interlinking of rivers is a complex and contentious issue. It has the potential to provide improved water management, hydroelectric power, agriculture, and navigation. Its adverse environmental impacts, displacement, cost overruns, and interstate conflicts. Q3. Account for the present location of iron and steel industries away from the raw material by giving examples. 150 words, 10 marks. Answer. Approach. Introduction. Start your answer with discussing major location factors for the iron and steel industries. Body. Discuss the present location factor of iron and steel industries away from the source of raw material. Conclusion. Conclude your answer with suitable factor for the iron and steel industries. Introduction. Major location factors for iron and steel industries include proximity to raw materials such as iron ore and coal, access to transportation, availability of energy sources, and proximity to markets for finished products. Body. Factor that affect location of iron and steel industries away from raw material. Access to better infrastructure. The present location of iron and steel industries is close to ports, roads, and railways, which makes transportation of finished products more convenient. E.g., the Vizag Steel Plant, in Andhra Pradesh, is the first port-based plant. Skilled labor. The shift in location is also due to the availability of skilled labor in the new areas, which has become an essential factor in the success of the industry. E.g., Steel Authority of India Limited SAIL, in Rourkela. Market-based location. It is generally found in countries where coal and iron ore deposits are rare. E.g., Japan is deficient in almost all raw materials that are to be imported from other countries. Government policies. Governments often provide incentives to industries that set up in certain areas, such as tax exemptions and subsidies, which can influence their location decisions. E.g., Tata Iron and Steel Company, TISCO, in Jamshedpur. 174 Conclusion. The location factors for iron and steel industries have evolved over time, with advancements in transportation, globalization, availability of skilled labor, infrastructure development, and government policies all playing critical roles in determining the location of these industries away from the source of raw material. Q4. India has immense potential for solar energy, though there are regional variations in its development. Elaborate. 150 words, 10 marks. Answer. Approach. Introduction. Write data related to solar energy. Body. Elaborate regional variation in India. Conclusion. Conclude your answer with government initiative and its impact. Introduction. Solar energy is a major component of India's renewable energy portfolio, owing to its vast potential with a solar energy availability of 4,000 trillion kilowatt-hour per year. India has committed to generating 100 gigawatts of solar power out of 175 gigawatts of renewable energy by 2022 under the intended Nationally Determined Contributions (INDCs). Currently, India has an installed solar capacity of 43 gigawatts. Body. Regional variations. Desert areas of Rajasthan and Kutch, which have barren lands and receive high insolation, are considered ideal for solar energy generation. Himalayan and northeastern regions have a lower potential for solar energy generation due to their low insolation levels and challenging terrain. Coastal states like Kerala have moderate solar energy generation potential due to the long monsoon season compared to heartland states. States closer to the tropics, which receive high solar insolation, are considered hotspots. 175 rooftop solar panel program has tremendous potential in urban cities and can contribute significantly to India's solar energy goals. Challenges to solar energy program. Overproduction. Leading to very low tariff rates is one such challenge, which can discourage investment in solar energy projects. Poor integration. Solar energy with the grid and the acquisition of land for solar parks are other challenges. Production and technological barriers, particularly the dependence on lithium imports from China for PV cells, are another challenge that needs to be addressed. Rooftop solar installations issue because of poor awareness and finances. Conclusion. The Indian government has taken several initiatives and policies to propel the solar energy market, including Saral Index, PM Kusum floating solar plants in Gujarat, and ISA in Haryana. Solar energy, with its low carbon footprint, can be a potential substitute for conventional energy sources and can help India fulfill its commitments under the INDCs and Panchamrit proposals at COP26. Q5. Answer. The process of desertification does not have climate boundaries. Justify with examples. 150 words, 10 marks approach. Introduction. Define briefly desertification. Body. Discuss restricted by climate boundaries and some reason. Conclusion. Conclude your answer with a futuristic approach. Introduction. Desertification is the process of land degradation in arid, semi-arid, and dry subhumid regions caused by a combination of natural and human factors. Environmental challenges threaten the sustainability of agriculture and livelihoods in these regions. Body. Desertification is not restricted by climate boundaries due to some reason. Climate change. Changes in temperature, rainfall patterns, and extreme weather events due to climate change can exacerbate desertification in arid and semi-arid regions. In these regions, droughts, prolonged dry spells, and heat waves can lead to soil degradation, loss of vegetation, and increased desertification. Like Latin America and the Caribbean, are actually about 1/4 desert and dry lands. Land use changes. Overgrazing, deforestation, and improper land use can lead to soil erosion, loss of topsoil, and desertification. These activities result in removal of vegetation cover, which exposes the soil to wind and water erosion, leading to soil degradation and loss of fertility. Water management. Over-extraction of groundwater and poor irrigation practices can also contribute to desertification. These activities can deplete the water resources and lead to soil salinization, which can further reduce soil fertility and lead to desertification. Punjab and Haryana. Human activities. Urbanization, industrialization, and population growth can increase pressure on natural resources, leading to overuse and depletion of these resources, which can contribute to desertification. 50% of the population is expected to live in urban areas by 2050. Conclusion. The factors contributing to desertification are complex and multifaceted and require a comprehensive approach to address. Desertification is not limited to specific climatic zones and threatens the sustainability of agriculture and livelihoods in affected regions. Q6. Answer. Account for the huge flooding of the millions of cities in India, including the smart ones like Hyderabad and Pune. Suggest lasting remedial measures. 250 words, 15 marks, 176 approach. Introduction. Write any data/report body. Discuss the responsible factor for frequent urban flooding and remedial measurement. A conclusion. Conclude your answer with a futuristic approach and public awareness. Introduction. The major cause of frequent urban floods is unplanned urbanization. The state of Kerala, Madhya Pradesh, Karnataka, Maharashtra, and Gujarat were the most severely affected. 2021 Maharashtra flood, widespread flooding in Mahad and Chiplun on July 22. 2021 caused by exceptionally heavy rainfall. 2022 Assam floods, heavy flooding in Assam state in May 2022. Body. Various factors are responsible for frequent urban flooding. Meteorological factors. Heavy rainfall, cyclonic storms, and thunderstorms can cause urban flooding. As urbanization has increased, the natural drainage system has been disrupted, which makes it difficult for excess water to flow out like Hyderabad and Pune. Hydrological factors. The occurrence of high tides impeding the drainage in coastal cities and overbank flow channel networks can cause urban flooding. Anthropogenic factors. Unplanned urbanization. The key cause of urban flooding is unplanned urbanization. Blocking of natural drainage pathways through construction activity and encroachment on catchment areas, riverbeds, and lake beds can cause floods. Stormwater drainage systems. The old and ill-maintained drainage system is another factor making cities in India vulnerable to flooding. Like Bangalore flood causes. Encroachments. Habitations started growing into towns and cities alongside rivers and watercourses. As a result, the capacity of the natural drains has decreased, resulting in flooding. Climate change. Climate change due to various anthropogenic events has led to extreme weather events that can cause urban flooding. Poor solid waste management. Improper waste management systems, clogging of stormwater drains because of silting, accumulation of non-biodegradable wastes, and construction debris can cause floods. Some of the remedial measures that can be taken to address urban flooding are improving drainage infrastructure. A proper drainage system is essential to prevent flooding. The existing drainage systems in urban areas should be improved and new drainage systems should be built in areas that are prone to flooding. E.g. Hyderabad's Strategic Nala Development Plan improved drainage systems, constructing retention ponds and reservoirs. Retention ponds and reservoirs can be built to collect excess water during heavy rainfall. This can help prevent flooding downstream. E.g. Tansa Lake Reservoir has been effective in reducing flooding downstream. Implementing green infrastructure. Green infrastructure, such as green roofs, rain gardens, and permeable pavement, can help absorb rainwater and reduce the amount of water that flows into the drainage system. E.g. Kolkata's East Kolkata Wetlands, a natural wastewater treatment system, has been effective in managing stormwater and reducing flooding. Enforcing land use regulations. Land use regulations can be implemented to prevent development in flood-prone areas. This can help reduce the risk of flooding. Building flood walls and embankments. Flood walls and embankments can be built to prevent water from entering urban areas. This can be an effective short-term measure, but it may not be a sustainable long-term solution. Developing early warning systems. People prepare for floods and reduce the risk of loss of life and property damage. Chennai's flood early warning system. Conclusion. Urban flooding requires a multifaceted approach that involves improving infrastructure, implementing regulations, educating the public, and developing early warning systems. Taking these measures, urban flooding can be reduced, and the risk of loss of life and property damage can be minimized. 177Q7. Examine the status of forest resources of India and its resultant impact on climate change. 250 words, 15 marks, answer approach. Introduction. Write the findings of the Forest Survey Report. Body. Status of forest resources in India. Significant impact on climate change. Vulnerable to the effects of climate change. A conclusion. Conclude your answer with the importance of forest. Introduction. According to the India State of Forest Report 2019, the Indian forest cover is around 24.56% of its total geographical area. The country has lost around 9.38 million hectares of forest cover between 1991 and 2019. Body. Forests are a critical natural resource in India, providing numerous ecological, economic, and social benefits. They are home to diverse flora and fauna, regulate local weather patterns, and provide livelihoods to millions of people. Status of forest resources of India as follows. Mangrove cover. Mangroves are a vital ecosystem that plays a crucial role in coastal protection, carbon sequestration, and supporting biodiversity. Mangroves cover an area of around 4,975 square kilometers. E.g. Sundarban's delta in the Bay of Bengal being the largest mangrove forest in the world. Bamboo cover. Bamboo is a fast-growing and renewable resource in India's economy and environment. India has the largest area under bamboo cultivation in the world, covering around 16.2 million hectares. Increase in forest and tree cover. According to the India State of Forest Report 2019, forest and tree cover increased by 13,000 square kilometers. The government has implemented various afforestation and reforestation initiatives, like the Green India Mission and the National Agroforestry Policy. Total carbon stock. The total carbon stock in Indian forests is around 7,124 million tons. Deforestation and degradation of forests release carbon dioxide into the atmosphere, contributing to global warming. Preserving and increasing forest cover is crucial for mitigating climate change. Significant impact on climate change. Forests act as carbon sinks, absorbing and storing carbon dioxide from the atmosphere. They regulate local weather patterns and prevent soil erosion, desertification, and land degradation. Deforestation and forest degradation release carbon dioxide into the atmosphere, contributing to global warming. Preserving and increasing forest cover is crucial for mitigating climate change. The management of forest resources is crucial for the sustainable development of India, and efforts must be made to conserve and enhance their contribution to mitigating climate change. India is quite vulnerable to effective climate change due to the effects of climate change due to its vast coastline, large population, and reliance on agriculture. The country is experiencing more frequent extreme weather events, such as droughts, floods, and heat waves. Melting Himalayan glaciers threaten the water supply of millions of people, while rising sea levels pose a threat to coastal areas. Climate change is expected to have significant impacts on India's economy, food security, and public health. Conclusion: India's forest resources play a crucial role in mitigating climate change and provide various economic, ecological, and social benefits. Deforestation and forest degradation pose a significant threat to the environment and exacerbate the effects of climate change. 178-2019Q1. How do ocean currents and water masses differ in their impact on marine life and coastal environment? Give suitable examples. 250 words, 15 marks. Answer. Approach. Introduction. Write your answer with a brief about the marine ecosystem. Body. Significance of ocean currents in marine ecosystem and its impacts on coastal environment. A conclusion. Conclude your answer with the importance of marine ecosystems. Introduction. Ocean currents are continuous streams of water that flow in specific directions and paths. They can be cold or warm currents and exist on the ocean's surface or deep within it. Water masses refer to distinct bodies of water characterized by their temperature, salinity, and density. Water masses, like the North Atlantic deep water found in the Norwegian Sea, differ from ocean currents as they represent large volumes of water with consistent properties rather than continuous flowing streams. Body. Significant of ocean currents in marine ecosystem. Nutrient distribution. Ocean currents can transport nutrients across vast distances, influencing the distribution and abundance of phytoplankton bases of the marine food chain. Like the Gulf Stream is a powerful ocean current that transports warm water from the Gulf of Mexico to the North Atlantic. Migration patterns. Marine species like sea turtles, whales, and certain fish follow ocean currents during their annual migrations. E.G. leatherback sea turtles are known to follow ocean currents during their annual migration from nesting beaches in the Caribbean to feeding grounds in the North Atlantic. Biodiversity. The convergence of different ocean currents can create areas of high biodiversity as different species are brought together in one place. E.G. The mixing of warm and cold water currents creates a nutrient-rich environment that supports a diverse range of marine life. Climate change. Changes in ocean currents due to climate change can have significant impacts on marine life, altering water temperatures and affecting the distribution and survival of various species. Significant impacts on coastal environment. Erosion. Strong ocean currents can cause erosion along the coast, wearing away beaches and cliffs over time. E.G. The strong ocean currents along the coast of California have caused erosion in areas such as Big Sur beach nourishment. Conversely, ocean currents can also bring in sediment from offshore areas, providing natural beach nourishment. Pollution transport. Ocean currents can transport pollutants, such as oil spills or plastic debris, to coastal areas, potentially harming marine life and human health. Water quality. Changes in ocean currents can also affect water quality in coastal areas, altering salinity levels and nutrient concentrations. Tourism and recreation. Ocean currents can influence the quality of surfing and other recreational activities, making them more or less favorable depending on conditions. Impact of water mass on the climate and marine life. 1. The movement of water masses has profound effects on the marine environment. Downwelling, the sinking of surface waters to deeper depths, can provide a source of food for deep-sea organisms. It can lead to oxygen depletion in deep waters, creating dead zones where marine life struggles to survive. The downwelling of water can contribute to oceanic carbon storage, playing a role in the global carbon cycle and climate change. 2. The upwelling of water, the rising of deep waters to the surface, has its own set of impacts. Upwelling stimulates the growth of phytoplankton, microscopic marine plants, which form the basis of the marine food chain. This increased availability of phytoplankton can support a range of marine life, from small zooplankton to large fish and marine mammals. Upwelling 179 can influence the distribution and migration patterns of various marine species, creating areas of high biodiversity and productivity. Conclusion: ocean currents and water masses are both important components of the marine environment. Ocean currents can influence the distribution of nutrients, migration patterns, and biodiversity of marine species. Q2. Can the strategy of regional resource-based manufacturing help in promoting employment in India? 150 words, 10 marks answer, approach. Introduction. Define what regional-based manufacturing is. Body. Explain impact and how can promote employment in India. Conclusion. Conclude your answer with importance of regional-based manufacturing. Introduction. The strategy of regional resource-based manufacturing has the potential to promote employment in India. The country's diverse resource base, leveraging regional resources for manufacturing, can create job opportunities and promote economic growth. Body. Regional manufacturing industries in India and role in job creation. Textile industry. Gujarat is one of the leading states in textile manufacturing in India, utilizing the cotton produced in the state. The industry provides direct and indirect employment to millions of people, making it a significant contributor to the economy. Auto industry. Tamil Nadu is a hub for the automobile industry, with several leading companies having their manufacturing plants in the state. The industry provides employment to a large number of people, including engineers, designers, and factory workers. Leather industry. Uttar Pradesh is one of the leading states in leather manufacturing, providing employment opportunities to thousands of people. The industry includes several subsectors such as tanning, footwear, and leather goods. Tea industry and jute industry. West Bengal is known for its tea industry, providing employment to a large number of people. The industry includes several subsectors such as tea cultivation, processing, packaging, and marketing. Pharmaceutical industry. Maharashtra and Himachal Pradesh are hubs for the pharmaceutical industry, with several leading companies having their manufacturing plants in the state. The industry provides employment to a large number of people, including scientists, engineers, and factory workers. Iron-based industries. Chhattisgarh, Madhya Pradesh, Goa, Tamil Nadu are the principal Indian producers of iron ore. The Make in India project has also helped in boosting the employment opportunity in various states. Dairy industry. This industry prominent in Gujarat provides employment to lack of dairy farmers in Gujarat. Example, Amul. Conclusion. The strategy of regional resource-based manufacturing can be a viable approach to promote employment in India. By utilizing local resources, investing in infrastructure, promoting MSMEs, and developing specialized skills, regional industries can generate job opportunities and contribute to overall economic growth and development. Q3. Answer. Discuss the factor for localization of agro-based food processing industries of North, West India. 150 words, 10 marks approach. Introduction. Start your answer with the importance Northwestern region of India in the agriculture sector. Body. Discuss the responsible factor for localization of the food processing industry. 180. Conclusion. Conclude your answer with a futuristic approach and government scheme. Introduction. The Northwestern region of India, comprising the states of Punjab, Haryana, Rajasthan, and parts of Uttar Pradesh, is rich in agricultural produce. The region's agro-based food processing industries have significant economic potential and have been a source of employment for many. Body. Responsible factor for localization of food processing industry. Abundance of raw materials. The Northwestern region is known for its fertile land and rich agricultural produce. This abundance of raw materials makes it an ideal location for agro-based food processing industries, like Haryana and Punjab. Availability of water. The region has several rivers and canal networks, which provide a reliable source of water for agriculture and industrial use. Like Gangab climatic conditions. The Northwestern region has a semi-arid climate, which is ideal for growing crops like wheat, rice, and sugarcane. This makes it an ideal location for agro-based food processing industries that rely on these crops as raw materials. Transportation network. The region has a well-developed transportation network, which includes roads, railways, and airports. This makes it easy to transport raw materials and finished products to different parts of the country. Technology adoption. Mechanized and semi-mechanized forms of technology have been commonly adopted in the agricultural sector of this area. Like Green Revolution government policies. The government has implemented several policies and incentives to encourage the growth of agro-based food processing industries in the region. These policies include Sampada Yojana, PMKSY schemes. Conclusion: the growth of agro-based food processing industries in the northwestern region of India has the potential to provide employment opportunities and contribute to the country's economic development. With the right policies and incentives, these industries can continue to grow and flourish in the region. Q4. How is efficient and affordable urban mass transport key to the rapid economic development in India? 250 words, 15 marks answer, approach. Introduction, right. About the importance of mass transport. Body. Discuss the reason for the mass transport system improves connectivity. Conclusion. Conclude your answer's importance with a futuristic approach. Introduction. Efficient and affordable urban mass transport is essential for the rapid economic development of India. With the country's population rapidly increasing and urbanization on the rise, a reliable and accessible transport system is crucial for sustainable economic growth. Body. Reason for mass transport system improve connectivity due to improved connectivity. An efficient urban mass transport system can improve connectivity within cities and between cities. This can lead to increased economic activity as people and goods can move around more easily and quickly. Like Delhi to Mumbai. Reduced congestion. Congestion on the roads can lead to increased travel times and costs, which can be a significant burden for businesses. A reliable and efficient urban mass transport system can help reduce congestion and make travel more predictable and affordable. Example: Metro and Vande Bharat trains, etc. Increased productivity. An efficient urban mass transport system can help people get to work or school more quickly and easily. This can lead to increased productivity and economic growth like Maharashtra. Boost to tourism. A well-connected and efficient urban mass transport system can help boost tourism by making it easier for visitors to get around and explore different parts of the city. Like Himachal Pradesh 181 environmental benefits. An efficient urban mass transport system can help reduce air pollution and greenhouse gas emissions by encouraging people to use public transport instead of private vehicles. This can lead to significant health benefits and cost savings in the long run like Sikkim. Conclusion. A well-developed urban mass transport system can be a game changer for India's economic growth. India moves towards becoming a global economic superpower. Investing in urban mass transport must be a priority to ensure inclusive and sustainable growth. Q5. Assess the impact of global warming on the coral life system with examples. 150 words, 10 marks answer, approach. Introduction. Start your answer with the importance of coral reefs. Body. Discuss impact of global warming on the coral life system. Conclusion. Conclude your answer with a futuristic approach. Introduction. Coral reefs are some of the most diverse and important ecosystems on the planet, providing habitat for a quarter of all marine life. They are under threat from the effects of global warming, including rising sea temperatures, ocean acidification, and increased frequency and severity of storms. Body. Impact of global warming on the coral life system. Coral bleaching. Rising ocean temperatures cause coral bleaching, where corals expel the symbiotic algae living in their tissues. This leads to a loss of color and can eventually result in the death of the coral if it is bleached for prolonged periods. E.G. The Great Barrier Reef in Australia is a well-known example of a coral site that has been impacted by coral bleaching due to rising ocean temperatures. Ocean acidification. Increased levels of carbon dioxide in the atmosphere lead to increased absorption of CO2 by the ocean, resulting in a decrease in pH and increased acidity. This can weaken coral skeletons, making them more vulnerable to damage from storms and other environmental stressors. Coral mortality. Coral bleaching and other impacts of global warming can lead to widespread coral mortality, which can have significant impacts on the entire reef ecosystem. E.G. The Caribbean has experienced widespread coral mortality due to bleaching, disease, and other effects of climate change. Loss of biodiversity. Coral reefs are home to a diverse array of marine life, and the loss of coral reefs due to global warming can lead to a loss of biodiversity in the surrounding area. Economic impacts. Coral reefs are also important for local economies, providing food and income for millions of people around the world. The loss of coral reefs due to global warming can have significant economic impacts on these communities. Way forward. The loss of coral reefs due to global warming can lead to a loss of biodiversity and have significant economic impacts on communities that rely on them for food and income. Urgent action is needed to reduce greenhouse gas emissions and protect coral reefs from the impacts of global warming. Conclusion: global warming impacts on coral life are significant and complex, threatening ecosystems and millions who rely on them. Urgent action to reduce greenhouse gas emissions, better management, and conservation efforts offer hope for the future of these vital ecosystems. Q6. Discuss the causes of depletion of mangroves and explain their importance in maintaining coastal ecology. 150 words, 10 marks answer, approach. Introduction. Start your answer with the importance of mangroves with data. 182 body. Discuss the reason for decline in mangroves and its significance. Conclusion. Conclude your answer with a futuristic approach. Introduction. Mangroves are an important part of coastal ecosystems, providing a range of ecological, economic, and cultural benefits. Despite their importance, mangroves have been subject to significant depletion in recent decades, with estimates suggesting that up to 50% of mangrove forests have been lost globally. Body. Reason for the decline in mangroves: deforestation. Mangrove depletion is deforestation, which is driven by the conversion of mangrove forests to agriculture, aquaculture, and urbanization. Like Sundarbans, a mangrove forest in Bangladesh. Climate change. Climate change has had a significant impact on mangroves, with rising sea levels and changes in precipitation patterns leading to the loss of coastal habitats. E.g. climate change has also led to rising sea levels, which is causing saltwater intrusion and killing off the mangroves. Pollution, particularly from oil spills, can have a devastating impact on mangroves, destroying habitats and affecting the health of marine life. The emergence of shrimp farms has caused about 35% of the overall loss of mangrove forests. Overfishing. Overfishing can disrupt the ecological balance of mangrove ecosystems, reducing the abundance of fish and other marine life. Significance of mangroves. Shoreline stabilization. Mangroves serve as a natural buffer against coastal erosion, helping to stabilize shorelines and prevent the loss of land to the sea. Biodiversity conservation. Mangroves provide habitats for a diverse range of plant and animal species, including many that are endangered or threatened. They serve nurseries for juvenile fish and other marine life. 183 carbon sequestration. Mangroves are highly effective at storing carbon, making them important allies in the fight against climate change. They can store up to 5 times more carbon per hectare than tropical forests. Coastal protection. Mangroves can help to mitigate the impact of storms and natural disasters, reducing the risk of damage to coastal communities. Economic benefits. Mangroves provide a range of economic benefits to local communities, including timber and non-timber forest products, as well as fisheries and tourism. Conclusion. Mangroves are vital but threatened ecosystems. Depletion caused by human activities has significant implications for coastal ecology. Conservation, sustainable management practices, and restoration are needed to ensure their long-term health and resilience. Q7. Answer. What is water stress? How and why does it differ regionally in India? 250 words, 15 marks approach. Introduction. Start your answer with the importance of water stress with data. Body. Discuss the regional differences in water stress. Water stress level varies from region to region. Conclusion. Conclude your answer with a significant challenge and futuristic approach. Introduction. Water stress is a situation where the demand for water exceeds the available supply in a particular region. It is a growing concern globally, particularly in regions where population growth, urbanization, and climate change are putting increasing pressure on water resources. India is among 17 countries facing extreme water stress. Body. Regional differences in water stress. Geographic location. The Himalayas and the Northeast have abundant water resources due to high levels of rainfall. Rajasthan and Gujarat are naturally water scarce. Population density. Areas with high population densities, the Gangetic Plain and the Deccan Plateau, have greater demands for water, leading to higher levels of water stress. Up in Bihar. Agricultural practices. Agriculture is the largest user of water in India, and regions with intensive irrigation practices, such as the Indus and Ganges river basins, face significant water stress. Industrialization. Rapid industrialization has led to increased demands for water in many regions of India, particularly in areas with heavy manufacturing and mining activity, like Delhi and Maharashtra. Water stress level varies from region to region. It is primarily due to depleting groundwater. The main cause of water stress is the low groundwater levels. Due to excessive groundwater pumping, the aquifers are not able to recharge, leading to a decline in water availability. This has led to water scarcity for both domestic and agricultural purposes. 184 Infrastructure. Water stress is due to the lack of a proper canal network to transport water from the sources to the city. The city depends on a few small streams for its water supply, and in times of drought, the water availability becomes severely limited. Climate change has also played a role in decreasing the water availability in the region. Varying amount of rainfall. Water stress is caused by a combination of factors, including low rainfall, high evaporation rates, and the salinity of water in the region. The groundwater in the city is heavily polluted, and the city is heavily dependent on water supply from other regions, which are themselves facing water scarcity. Conclusion: water stress is a significant challenge in India that differs regionally due to some factors. Water stress will require a coordinated effort from governments, communities, and individuals to improve water management practices, reduce water consumption, and ensure equitable distribution of water resources. It is essential to implement sustainable measures to conserve water resources for future generations. Q8. Answer: how can the mountain ecosystem be restored from the negative impact of development initiatives and tourism? 250 words, 15 marks approach. Introduction. Start your answer with a brief about the mountain ecosystem. Body. Discuss the major threats to mountainous ecosystems and its solution. A conclusion. Conclude your answer with a futuristic approach and public awareness. Introduction. The mountain ecosystem is a crucial and sensitive part of the environment, delicate and complex, and they are affected by human activities such as development initiatives and tourism. Some activities can cause a wide range of negative impacts on the ecosystem: habitat destruction, soil erosion, pollution, and the displacement of native species. Body. Major threats to mountainous ecosystems include climate change. Rising temperatures can cause glacial melting, altered precipitation patterns, and changes in the timing of seasonal events, e.g. loss of the West Antarctic ice sheet. Sea level rise would approach 10.5 meters, 34 feet. Deforestation. Deforestation can result in soil erosion, habitat loss, and changes in water availability. Human-animal conflicts are common. E.g. the Amazon rainforest has suffered from deforestation, causing soil erosion, habitat loss, and human-animal conflicts. Mining. Mining activities can cause habitat destruction, soil erosion, and water pollution, e.g. landslide in Joshimath in India. Infrastructure development. The construction of dams, roads, and other infrastructure can result in habitat loss, soil erosion, and fragmentation of ecosystems. Agricultural practices. Unsustainable agricultural practices can lead to soil erosion, habitat loss, and water pollution, e.g. Punjab and Haryana region in India. Tourism. Tourism activities can cause habitat destruction, pollution, and the displacement of native species. Some of the measures that can be taken: conduct environmental impact assessments, EIA, before starting any development or tourism activity. Limit the number of tourists to reduce pressure on the ecosystem. Encourage sustainable tourism practices that minimize waste, conserve energy, and reduce water consumption. Restore degraded areas through planting native species, reducing soil erosion, and reducing pollution. Protect wildlife by reducing human-wildlife conflicts, protecting endangered species, and preserving their natural habitats. Promote sustainable land use practices such as organic farming, reducing deforestation, and reducing soil erosion. 185. Educate the public about the importance of the mountain ecosystem and the negative impacts of development and tourism. Conclusion. Restoring the mountain ecosystem from the negative impact of development initiatives and tourism requires a collaborative effort to protect the ecosystem's delicate balance. We can restore and preserve the mountain ecosystem. It is essential to prioritize sustainable development practices and promote responsible tourism to ensure that the ecosystem is protected for future generations. 2018 Q1. Define mantle plume and explain its role in plate tectonics. 150 words, 10 marks answer approach. Introduction. What is a mental plume? Body. Discuss the role of mental plume in plate tectonics. Conclusion. Conclude your answer with the importance of mental plume. Introduction. Mantle plumes are columns of hot magma that rise from the Earth's mantle to the surface. They are associated with volcanic activity and have a significant impact on plate tectonics, the scientific theory that describes the movement of the Earth's lithosphere. Body. Role of mantle plume in plate tectonics. Mantle plumes rise through the solid mantle before spreading out laterally in the upper asthenosphere. The heat from the plume increases the temperature of the lower lithosphere. The lithosphere swells and shears. This causes the lithospheric plate to move above the plume, creating a string of volcanoes. The material and energy from Earth's interior are exchanged with the surface crust through two modes: the predominant steady-state plate tectonic regime and the punctuated mantle overturn regime driven by plume convection. Regime is periodically significant in mountain building and continental breakup. Mantle plumes are also responsible for the formation of time-progressive volcanic chains and flood basalts, such as the Hawaiian Island and Emperor Seamount chain and the Deccan Traps in India. The eruption of continental flood basalts is often associated with continental rifting and breakup, leading to the hypothesis that mantle plumes contribute to the formation of ocean basins. Conclusion. Mantle plumes play a crucial role in plate tectonics, contributing to the geological processes that shape our planet. Their impact on plate movement and continental breakup is still being studied, but it is clear that they are a significant factor in the Earth's geology. We can gain a deeper understanding of the complex processes that shape the world we live in. 186Q2. Answer. Why is the Indian Regional Navigational Satellite System, IRNSS, needed? How does it help in navigation? 150 words, 10 marks approach. Introduction. Briefly explain about IRNSS. Body. Significant and helpful in navigation by IRNSS. Conclusion. Conclude your answer with the importance of IRNSS. Introduction. The Indian Regional Navigational Satellite System, IRNSS, is also known as NAV-IC, developed to provide India with its own independent navigation system that is not dependent on foreign systems like GPS. It is a sophisticated satellite-based navigation system designed to provide accurate and reliable location information for users on the ground. Body. Need of the IRNSS. To provide India with its own independent navigation system that is not dependent on foreign systems like GPS. To provide accurate and reliable navigation services for civilian and military applications in India and the surrounding regions. To provide more precise location and timing information for various applications, including transportation, agriculture, disaster management, and national security. To enhance the security and sovereignty of India by providing an encrypted navigation signal for use by the military. To support the development of indigenous technology and expertise in the field of space technology. To contribute to the overall progress and development of India's space program. To increase India's self-reliance in the area of space technology. To provide a platform for scientific and technological research and development. Role of IRNSS in navigation. IRNSS provides accurate and reliable location information for users on the ground, which is necessary for navigation in various applications. It provides real-time information on location, velocity, and time, which can be used to calculate the best route to a destination. IRNSS is designed to provide navigation services with an accuracy of up to 20 meters, which is much better than the accuracy provided by GPS. It can provide navigation services in areas where GPS signals are weak or unavailable. The system is highly reliable, and its signal is not subject to jamming or interference. IRNSS provides an encrypted navigation signal for use by the military, which is not available on GPS. The system is cost-effective, and its use is not subject to any licensing fees or restrictions. It can help in better transportation, logistics, and promote ease of doing in business. It has wide-ranging applications in transportation, agriculture, disaster management, and national security. In April 2019, the government made IRNSS-based vehicle trackers mandatory for all commercial vehicles in the country in accordance with the Nirbhaya case verdict. Conclusion. IRNSS is a critical technological development for India as it enhances the efficiency, safety, and security of navigation-based applications. By providing accurate and reliable location information, IRNSS contributes significantly to the progress and development of India's space program, and its use has wide-ranging applications in transportation, agriculture, disaster management, and national security. 187Q3. Why is India taking keen interest in the Arctic region? 150 words, 10 marks answer, approach. Introduction. Write about the Arctic region. Body. Discuss India's interest in the Arctic region. Conclusion. Conclude your answer with importance of the Arctic region. Introduction. India's interest in the Arctic region is motivated by economic, strategic, scientific, and diplomatic factors. The region's resource exploration potential, new trade routes, climate change impact, scientific research opportunities, and diplomatic engagement make it an attractive area for India. Body. India's interest in the Arctic region, resource exploration. The Arctic is believed to hold abundant reserves of oil, gas, minerals, and rare earth elements, and India is interested in exploring these resources to meet its growing energy demands and reduce its dependence on foreign imports. Trade routes. The melting of Arctic ice has opened up new trade routes, which are shorter and more cost-effective than traditional routes. India sees the Arctic as a new trade corridor that can help reduce the cost of transportation and increase trade between Asia, Europe, and North America. Climate change. The melting of Arctic ice is a major concern for India, which is vulnerable to the impacts of climate change, such as rising sea levels and changes in monsoon patterns. Scientific research. India is interested in conducting scientific research in the Arctic region to better understand its impact on global climate and to study the unique flora and fauna of the region. Diplomacy. India is keen to play a more active role in global diplomacy, and its interest in the Arctic is seen as a way to engage with other countries in the region and expand its international presence. Conclusion. India's interest in the Arctic region is driven by a combination of economic, strategic, scientific, and diplomatic factors. The country is taking a proactive approach to securing a foothold in the region, and it will be interesting to see how its efforts unfold in the years to come. Q4. The ideal solution to depleting groundwater resources in India is a water harvesting system. How can it be made effective in urban areas? 250 words, 15 marks answer. 188 approach. Introduction. Brief about status of water resources in India. Body. Discuss water harvesting system and its significance with example. Conclusion. Conclude your answer with a futuristic approach. Introduction. By 2030, the country's water demand is projected to be twice the available supply, implying severe water scarcity for hundreds of millions and an eventual loss of around 6% of the country's GDP. About 75% of households do not have drinking water at home, 84% rural households do not have piped water access, and 70% of India's water is contaminated, with the country currently ranked 120 among 122 in the Water Quality Index. Body. Solutions for water harvesting in India. Incentivize and promote water harvesting. The government can incentivize and promote water harvesting by providing tax rebates, subsidies, and other incentives to individuals and organizations that implement water harvesting systems. This would encourage more people to adopt this practice. E.G. In 2015, the Uttar Pradesh government announced a 50% subsidy on the cost of installing water harvesting systems in households in urban areas. Create awareness. Many people are not aware of the benefits of water harvesting, which hampers its adoption. The government can create awareness through campaigns and advertisements on various media platforms. E.G. The Union government launched the Jal Shakti Abhiyan campaign in 2019 to raise awareness about the importance of water conservation and encourage the adoption of water harvesting. Mandate water harvesting. Making water harvesting mandatory in urban areas would ensure that more people adopt this practice. The government can make it a requirement for new construction projects to have water harvesting systems installed. E.G. In 2001, the Karnataka government made it mandatory for all buildings with an area of 1,200 square ft or more to have water harvesting systems installed. Use innovative techniques. Innovative water harvesting techniques such as rooftop rainwater harvesting, vertical gardens, and permeable pavements can be implemented in urban areas to make the most of limited space. E.G. In Mumbai, the Bombay High Court made it mandatory for all new constructions to have a rainwater harvesting system and a green cover on at least 10% of the plot area. Conclusion. Effective implementation of water harvesting systems in urban areas can go a long way in conserving water and mitigating the depletion of groundwater resources. These measures can be implemented by governments, local authorities, and individuals to ensure a sustainable future for all. 5 Quetzales defining Blue Revolution. Explain the problem and strategies for pisciculture development in India. 250 words, 15 marks answer, approach. Introduction. Write about the Blue Revolution. Body. Discuss the problems of pisciculture development and its strategies in India. Conclusion. Conclude your answer with a futuristic approach. Introduction. The Blue Revolution refers to the sustainable and innovative development of the world's fisheries and aquaculture sectors to meet the growing demand for seafood while protecting the health of marine ecosystems and improving the livelihoods of fishing communities. The sector has enormous potential to contribute to the country's food security and rural livelihoods. 189 Body. Problems of pisciculture development in India. Lack of infrastructure. Primary challenges facing the development of pisciculture in India is the lack of adequate infrastructure, including fish hatcheries, fish seed farms, fish processing facilities, and transportation networks. This lack of infrastructure makes it difficult for fish farmers to produce and sell their products. Limited access to credit. Fish farmers in India often face difficulty in accessing credit, which limits their ability to invest in infrastructure and expand their operations. This lack of access to credit is a major impediment to the growth of the pisciculture sector. Poor quality fish seed. The quality of fish seed in India is often poor, with high mortality rates and low growth rates. This is due to a lack of proper breeding and selection techniques, which results in low-quality fish seed. Water scarcity. Water scarcity is a major challenge for the pisciculture sector in India, as fish require large quantities of water for their growth and survival. This problem is compounded by the fact that many of India's rivers are heavily polluted, making it difficult to maintain clean water for fish farming. Lack of skilled manpower. Another problem facing the development of pisciculture in India is the shortage of skilled manpower, including aquaculture technicians, fish health professionals, and fish processing workers. This shortage of skilled manpower makes it difficult for fish farmers to produce high-quality fish products and compete in the global market. Low profitability. Despite the potential benefits of pisciculture, many fish farmers in India struggle to make a profit. This is due to a variety of factors, including high production costs, low market prices, and limited market access. Environmental issues related to fishing. A recent WTO agreement has been proposed on illegal and unregulated fishing. Strategies of pisciculture development in India. To properly plan freshwater and brackish water aquaculture, it is necessary to strengthen the current database, which is not sufficient for empirical policy analysis. By taking these steps, we can ensure the sustainable growth of the brackish aquaculture sector, benefiting both the economy and the environment. In Telangana and Andhra Pradesh, India, a study found that the lack of reliable data on water availability and quality hindered the development of brackish water aquaculture. Improving data collection and analysis can lead to sustainable growth of the industry and benefit local communities. Leveraging the latest information technology is also critical to improving planning and monitoring of brackish aquaculture. Important to encourage this activity only in areas suitable for its purpose, which can be identified through remote sensing and GIS techniques to minimize ecological pollution and social conflicts. Improvements in breeding technology. Disease control, feeds and nutrition, and low-impact production systems must be made to complement traditional knowledge and enhance efficiency. Both public and private policies should be formulated to provide financial support, enhance skills, and educate farmers about sustainable practices. Financial institutions should strengthen the flow of credit to the aquaculture sector, taking into consideration the ecology and regulatory framework governing this sector. The growth of the aquaculture sector, specifically brackish aquaculture, is largely driven by exports. However, in order to maintain this growth, it is essential to address the issues surrounding the ecological and economic sustainability of brackish aquaculture, while also identifying its comparative advantage through multidisciplinary and regional studies. Legal and institutional measures must be developed to regulate aquaculture activity in ecologically fragile zones, and these measures must be implemented and enforced by local authorities. Enforcing quarantine measures on fish seed and feed is also essential to ensure that imported material is not infected or unwanted. Conclusion. India possesses a significant portion of the world's fish diversity and stands as the second largest fish producer globally. In the current climate of food insecurity, the prospects of pisciculture are immense in providing sustenance for the growing population. A sustainable and ecologically balanced approach towards aquaculture can cater to both the environmental and socioeconomic needs of the society. 1906. What is the significance of industrial corridors in India? Identifying industrial corridors, explain their main characteristics. 250 words, 15 marks answer approach. Introduction, write the importance of industrial corridors. Body, discuss the significance and characteristics of industrial corridors. Conclusion, conclude your answer with a futuristic approach. Introduction, industrial corridors are critical to India's economic development as they offer a platform for industrial growth by providing state-of-the-art infrastructure and logistics facilities. They can stimulate economic growth, attract investment, create employment, and improve the overall standard of living. The identification of specific corridors for development is a step towards increasing industrial competitiveness and creating employment opportunities. Body, significance of industrial corridors in India. Promote industrialization. Industrial corridors provide an opportunity for the government to develop new industrial clusters, which will promote industrialization and economic growth. Infrastructure development. These corridors also focus on the development of modern infrastructure facilities, such as power, water supply, and transportation, which are essential for the growth of industries. Job creation. The development of industrial corridors will lead to the creation of new jobs, both directly and indirectly, thereby reducing unemployment in the country. Foreign investment. The development of industrial corridors will also attract foreign investment, which will help in the transfer of technology and knowledge, leading to the growth of industries. Regional development. The development of these corridors will also promote the overall development of the region, leading to improved living standards for the people. Characteristics of some of the industrial corridors in India. Delhi-Mumbai Industrial Corridor. DMIC covers an overall length of 1,483 kilometers between Delhi and Mumbai, aims to create futuristic industrial cities by leveraging the high-speed, high-capacity connectivity provided by the Western Dedicated Freight Corridor. 191. The project is being funded by the Government of India, Japanese loans, investments by Japanese firms, and through Japan depository receipts issued by Indian companies. The estimated cost of the project is $100 billion. Chennai-Bengaluru Industrial Corridor. CBIC covers Tamil Nadu, Andhra Pradesh, and Karnataka. Aims to create a high-tech industrial zone in southern India, being funded by the Japan International Cooperation Agency, JITSA. Bengaluru-Mumbai Economic Corridor. BMEC covers Maharashtra and Karnataka, aims to create a knowledge-based economy by promoting research and innovation in these states, being developed with the help of Britain, UK. Amritsar-Kolkata Industrial Corridor, AKIC, covers Punjab, Haryana, Uttarakhand, Uttar Pradesh, Bihar, Jharkhand, and West Bengal. Aims to provide a boost to industrial development in the eastern part of India. The Eastern Dedicated Freight Corridor is the backbone of this economic corridor, East Coast Economic Corridor. ECEC covers West Bengal, Odisha, Andhra Pradesh, and Tamil Nadu, aims to enhance industrial competitiveness by focusing on development of ports, logistics, and energy infrastructure along the east coast of India. Northeast Myanmar Industrial Corridor. The Northeast Myanmar Industrial Corridor is a project that has been launched as part of the Tokyo Declaration for the India-Japan Special Strategic and Global Partnership. This initiative aims to boost connectivity and development in the Northeast region, ultimately driving economic growth and increasing prosperity in the area. Conclusion. The development of industrial corridors in India is crucial for the country's sustained economic growth and overall development. They have the potential to transform the economy by creating new industries, promoting exports, and increasing employment opportunities. The government's focus on building industrial corridors is a positive step towards achieving these goals. Q7. Mention core strategies for the transformation of aspirational districts in India and explain the nature of convergence, collaboration, and competition for its success. 250 words, 15 marks answer, approach. Introduction. Start your answer with the Aspirational Districts program. Body. Discuss the strategies for the transformation nature of convergence, collaboration, and competition. Conclusion. Conclude your answer with importance of the Arctic region. Introduction. The Aspirational Districts Program, ADP, was launched by the Government of India in 2018 in 117 districts with the aim of transforming the most backward districts of the country. The program focuses on 5 core areas, including health and nutrition, education, agriculture and water resources, financial inclusion, and basic infrastructure. Body. Strategies for the transformation of aspirational districts in India, convergence of central and state schemes. The program seeks to ensure that all central and state schemes converge at the district level to maximize their impact. Collaborative effort. The program encourages collaboration among various stakeholders, including district officials, citizens, and non-governmental organizations. Citizen-centric approach. The program aims to improve the quality of life of citizens in the aspirational districts through a people-centric approach. 192 Innovation. The program seeks to encourage innovation and the use of technology to drive development in the aspirational districts. Monitoring and feedback. The program emphasizes the importance of monitoring and feedback mechanisms to ensure the effective implementation of schemes and programs in the aspirational districts. Nature of convergence, collaboration, and competition. NITI Aayog is the anchor for the program, while individual ministries and district administrations have taken up responsibility to drive progress in the aspirational districts. A central Prabari officer of the rank of Additional Secretary/Joint Secretary has been nominated for each district to oversee the implementation of the program. States have formed a committee under the Chief Secretary to ensure effective implementation of the program. Nodal officers and state-level Prabari officers have also been appointed. An empowered committee led by the CEO of NITI Aayog has been established to ensure convergence of schemes and address specific issues identified by the Prabari officers. NITI Aayog releases Delta ranking for the districts in partnership, which serves to create a sense of competition among dynamic teams working towards the development of the aspirational districts. Conclusion. The transformation of aspirational districts in India requires a multi-pronged approach that involves convergence, collaboration, and competition among various stakeholders. The success of the program depends on the collective efforts of the government, civil society organizations, private sector, and local communities. Through effective implementation of the core strategies, the ADP has the potential to drive inclusive and sustainable development in the most disadvantaged areas of the country. Q8. What are the consequences of spreading dead zone on marine ecosystems? 150 words, 10 marks answer, approach. Introduction, define the dead zone. Body, discuss the significance of dead zones on marine ecosystems. A conclusion, conclude your answer with a significant threat to the marine ecosystem with a futuristic approach. Introduction, a dead zone is an area of the ocean with low or no oxygen levels where marine life cannot survive. The main cause of dead zones is eutrophication, the process by which excessive nutrients, such as nitrogen and phosphorus, enter coastal waters from agricultural and industrial sources, causing an overgrowth of algae. When these algae die, they sink to the bottom and decompose, depleting the oxygen in the water. Body, consequences of dead zones on marine ecosystems. Loss of marine life. Dead zones can cause significant losses of marine life, as oxygen-deprived fish, crabs, and other organisms suffocate and die. These organisms are crucial to the food chain, and their loss can have cascading effects throughout the ecosystem. Changes in food web. Dead zones can cause changes in the marine food web, as the loss of oxygen-loving organisms allows other, more resilient species to thrive. This can alter the balance of the ecosystem, leading to unpredictable and potentially damaging changes. Economic impacts. Dead zones can have significant economic impacts, as they can lead to reduced fish catches and lost revenue for fishing communities. They can also harm the tourism industry, as people are less likely to visit areas with poor water quality. Climate change. Dead zones can contribute to climate change, as the decomposition of organic matter in these areas releases large amounts of carbon dioxide and other greenhouse gases into the atmosphere. Human health. Dead zones can also pose a risk to human health, as they can lead to the proliferation of harmful bacteria and toxins, which can contaminate seafood and pose a risk to human health. 193 Some examples of dead zones. Gulf of Mexico Dead Zone, Baltic Sea Dead Zone, Chesapeake Bay Dead Zone, Black Sea Dead Zone, Lake Erie Dead Zone. Conclusion. The spreading of dead zones poses a significant threat to the marine ecosystem. It can lead to a decline in fish populations, an increase in harmful algal blooms, and a shift in the species composition. We can take measures to reduce nutrient pollution and protect our oceans from these growing environmental issues. 2017 Q1. How does the Juno mission of NASA help to understand the origin and evolution of Earth? 150 words, 10 marks answer, approach. Introduction. Start your answer with Juno mission. Body. Discuss the Juno mission contributed to our understanding of Earth. Conclusion. Conclude your answer with the importance of Juno mission. Introduction. The Juno mission launched by NASA in 2011 aims to study Jupiter, the largest planet in our solar system. This mission also holds immense significance in understanding the origin and evolution of Earth, as Jupiter is believed to have formed around the same time as the Sun and the other planets. Body. Juno mission contributed to our understanding of Earth. Formation of the solar system. Studying Jupiter's composition, structure, and magnetic field, we can learn more about the conditions that existed during the solar system's formation. This can help to better understand how Earth and the other planets in our solar system formed. Magnetic field. Jupiter's magnetic field is incredibly strong and complex, and studying it can help us to better understand the Earth's own magnetic field. The Earth's magnetic field is crucial for protecting the planet from harmful solar radiation, and understanding its behavior is important for predicting and mitigating space weather events. Water content of Jupiter. One of the key objectives of the Juno mission is to determine how much water is present in Jupiter's atmosphere. This is important because water is a key ingredient for life as we know it, and understanding its distribution in our solar system can help us to better understand the likelihood of finding life on other planets. Composition. The heavy elements that are no longer present on Earth, but were present during the early formation of the solar system. 194 atmosphere. Jupiter's distance from the Sun prevented solar winds from blowing away its hydrogen and helium. Consequently, Jupiter's atmosphere evolved through a mechanism distinct from Earth's atmosphere. Conclusion. The Juno mission has provided significant insights into Jupiter's composition, structure, and magnetic field, which has helped scientists understand the formation and evolution of not only Jupiter but also our entire solar system. The knowledge gained from this mission has contributed to our understanding of the early stages of planetary formation, and thus the origin and evolution of Earth. Q2. Answer. How does the cryosphere affect global climate? 150 words, 10 marks approach. Introduction. Brief definition of the term cryosphere. Body. Describe the term further and mention line to the global climate conclusion. Conclude your answer with the significance of the cryosphere. Introduction. The cryosphere, which comprises the frozen water on the Earth's surface, plays a crucial role in regulating the planet's climate. The impact of the cryosphere on global climate is significant and far-reaching, affecting everything from ocean currents to precipitation patterns. Body. Impact of cryosphere on global climate. Albedo. The cryosphere has a high albedo, which means it reflects a significant amount of the sun's energy, 80–90%, back into space. This reflected energy helps to cool the Earth's surface and atmosphere, and it plays a critical role in regulating the Earth's temperature. Like in 2019, Greenland experienced its largest ever ice melt, resulting in a significant decrease in its albedo. Sea level rise. As glaciers and ice sheets melt, they contribute to sea level rise, which can have far-reaching impacts on global climate patterns. Sea level rise can alter ocean currents, change precipitation patterns, and impact coastal ecosystems and communities. Like the small island nation of Kiribati in the Pacific Ocean is particularly vulnerable to sea level rise. Permafrost thawing. Permafrost is frozen soil that covers nearly a quarter of the land in the northern hemisphere. As permafrost thaws, it releases large amounts of methane and carbon dioxide into the atmosphere, which can contribute to the warming of the planet. Like in Alaska, the thawing of permafrost has caused infrastructure damage and forced some communities to relocate. Ocean circulation. The melting of sea ice in the Arctic Ocean can alter ocean circulation patterns, which can impact global climate. Changes in ocean circulation can affect the 195 distribution of heat and nutrients, which can impact weather patterns around the world. Like changes in the North Atlantic circulation pattern can impact the Gulf Stream, which brings warm water and mild temperatures to Europe. Conclusion. Changes to the cryosphere can have significant implications for the planet's climate, ecosystems, and communities. Understanding the role of the cryosphere in global climate is essential for mitigating the impacts of climate change and developing strategies for adaptation and resilience. Q3. Answer. Account for variations in oceanic salinity and discuss its multidimensional effect. 250 words, 15 marks approach. Introduction. Brief definition of the oceanic salinity. Body. Describe the reasons for oceanic salinity and its multidimensional effects and variation. Conclusion. Conclude your answer with significance of oceanic salinity. Introduction. Oceanic salinity, or the concentration of salt in seawater, varies across the world's oceans due to a range of factors. These variations can have far-reaching impacts on ocean circulation, marine ecosystems, and climate patterns. The average salinity of the water body of the oceans is 35 parts per thousand. Body. Reasons for oceanic salinity and its multidimensional effects. Precipitation. Regions with high precipitation rates tend to have lower salinity levels because fresh water from rain dilutes the salt water in the ocean. On the other hand, regions with low precipitation rates have higher salinity levels. Evaporation. When seawater evaporates, it leaves behind the dissolved salts, causing the salinity level to increase. Regions with high evaporation rates, such as the tropics, tend to have higher salinity levels. River runoff. Rivers carry fresh water into the ocean, which can significantly lower the salinity level in coastal regions. The multidimensional effects of oceanic salinity variations include ocean currents. Differences in oceanic salinity levels drive the formation of ocean currents, which are responsible for distributing heat and nutrients around the world. Changes in ocean currents can impact climate patterns and marine ecosystems. Marine life. Many marine organisms are sensitive to changes in salinity levels. A significant change in salinity can affect the distribution and abundance of marine species, which can have ripple effects throughout the food chain. Water cycle. Oceanic salinity levels are closely tied to the global water cycle, which is responsible for moving water between the oceans, land, and atmosphere. Changes in salinity levels can affect the water cycle, leading to changes in precipitation patterns and the availability of freshwater resources. 196 Conclusion. The multidimensional effects of oceanic salinity are vast, ranging from changes in ocean circulation and climate patterns to impacts on marine biodiversity and fisheries. Understanding the factors that contribute to variations in oceanic salinity is critical for predicting and mitigating the impacts of climate change on the world's oceans and the communities that depend on them. Q4. Answer. What characteristic can be assigned to monsoon climate that succeeds in feeding more than 50% of the world population residing in monsoon Asia? 250 words, 15 marks approach. Introduction. Brief about monsoon climate. Body. Describe the characteristics of monsoon climate. Conclusion. Conclude your answer with a futuristic approach. Introduction. Monsoon climate is a distinct climate pattern that prevails in several regions across the world. This climate is characterized by seasonal changes in wind patterns, which result in alternating wet and dry seasons. The monsoon climate plays a crucial role in supporting agricultural production and food security, particularly in monsoon Asia, where over 50% of the world's population resides. Body. Characteristics of monsoon climate. Seasonal rainfall. One of the defining features of monsoon climate is the seasonal rainfall patterns. During the wet season, which typically lasts from June to September, monsoon Asia experiences heavy rainfall, which can be as high as 90% of the region's annual precipitation. This rainfall is critical for supporting agricultural production and replenishing water resources, which are essential for food security. The monsoon climate in India is characterized by distinct seasons, which facilitate the cultivation of various types of crops. The movement of the sun between the Tropic of Cancer and Capricorn results in these distinct seasons. The cool, dry season occurs during October to February, as the northeast monsoon brings out blowing dry winds that result in little or no rain across the Indian subcontinent. The hot, dry season is marked by a sharp rise in temperature with the sun's northward shift to the Tropic of Cancer. However, coastal regions experience some relief from the heat due to sea breezes. The rainy season is observed from mid-June to September. With the burst of the southwest monsoon in mid-June, torrential downpours sweep across the country. Almost all the rain for the year falls within this rainy season. The retreating monsoon occurs towards the end of the rainy season, as the amount and frequency of rain decrease. The monsoon gradually retreats southwards after mid-September until it leaves the continent altogether. 197 High temperature and humidity. The wet season in monsoon Asia is also characterized by high temperatures and humidity. These conditions are ideal for the growth of crops, particularly rice, which is a staple food in many countries in the region. The high temperatures and humidity also create an environment conducive to the growth of tropical fruits and vegetables. Rivers and deltas. The monsoon climate is also characterized by large rivers and deltas, which provide fertile soils and ample water resources for agricultural production. The Ganges-Brahmaputra Delta, for example, is one of the most fertile agricultural regions in the world and supports the cultivation of crops such as rice, wheat, and jute. Adaptation strategies. The people in monsoon Asia have developed various adaptation strategies to cope with the seasonal changes in the monsoon climate. These strategies include crop diversification, crop rotation, and water management techniques such as irrigation, rainwater harvesting, and building reservoirs. Conclusion: the unique characteristics of monsoon climate, including seasonal rainfall patterns and ample sunlight, have enabled the development of highly productive agricultural systems in monsoon Asia. Understanding the factors that contribute to the success of these systems is essential for ensuring food security and sustainable development in the region and beyond. Q5. In spite of adverse environmental impact, coal mining is still inevitable for development. Discuss. 150 words, 10 marks answer approach. Introduction. Write about the importance of coal mine and its impact. Body. Discuss the advantages and disadvantages of coal mining. Conclusion. Conclude your answer with a futuristic approach. Introduction. Coal mining has been a crucial part of global energy production for centuries, but it is not without its drawbacks. Despite its environmental impacts, many argue that it is still necessary for development. In this essay, we will explore both sides of this argument. Body. 198 Inevitability of coal mining, energy security and needs. Coal is the most abundant and widely used fossil fuel. It provides a reliable and affordable source of energy that is essential for economic growth and development. Job creation. Coal mining provides employment opportunities for millions of people worldwide. The industry creates jobs in mining, transportation, and other related industries. Infrastructure development. Coal mining requires the development of transportation infrastructure, such as railways, roads, and ports, which can contribute to regional development and economic growth. Revenue generation. Coal mining generates significant revenue for governments through taxes, royalties, and other fees. This revenue can be used to fund social welfare programs, education, and healthcare. Renewable energy has not been fully utilized yet. Issues persistent with coal mining. Environmental impacts. Coal mining has significant environmental impacts, including air and water pollution, soil degradation, and greenhouse gas emissions. These impacts can lead to health problems, loss of biodiversity, and climate change. Health hazards. Coal mining can have adverse health effects on workers and nearby communities. Miners are exposed to coal dust, which can cause respiratory diseases such as black lung. Coal-fired power plants also emit toxic pollutants that can affect public health. Resource depletion. Coal is a non-renewable resource that is finite. As such, its continued use for energy generation will lead to its eventual depletion. Climate change. Coal is a major contributor to greenhouse gas emissions, which are responsible for climate change. The continued use of coal for energy generation is unsustainable and will lead to further environmental degradation. Conclusion. Coal mining is still inevitable for development, but its negative impacts cannot be ignored. To ensure sustainable development, it is necessary to adopt cleaner coal technologies and invest in renewable energy sources such as solar and wind power. Governments and businesses should also focus on reducing the environmental and health impacts of coal mining and address the social and economic concerns of affected communities. Only by balancing the benefits and costs of coal mining can we achieve sustainable development in the long run. Q6. Mention the advantages of the cultivation of pulses, because of which the year 2016 was declared as the International Year of Pulses by United Nations. 150 words, 10 marks answer approach. Introduction. Write the data with respect to pulses in India. Body. Discuss the advantage pulses. Conclusion. Conclude your answer with the importance of pulses with a futuristic approach. Introduction. Pulses are an essential source of nutrition for millions of people worldwide. From 19 million hectares in 1950-51 to 28 million hectares in 2021, the area under pulses has grown. The production of pulses surged by nearly 200% during the same span. In 2016, the United Nations declared it the International Year of Pulses to highlight their importance. Body advantages of pulses. Nutritional benefits. Pulses are a rich source of protein, fiber, vitamins, and minerals. They are low in fat and have no cholesterol, making them an excellent choice for a healthy diet. Soil health. Pulses are nitrogen-fixing crops, which means they help to enrich the soil with nitrogen. This reduces the need for synthetic fertilizers, which can be harmful to the environment. 199 Water conservation. Pulses require less water than other crops, making them an ideal choice for areas with limited water resources. Income generation. Pulses are a valuable cash crop for farmers, providing them with a source of income and helping to support local economies. Climate change mitigation. The cultivation of pulses can help to reduce greenhouse gas emissions by improving soil health and reducing the need for synthetic fertilizers. Carbon emission. Pulses have been shown to increase yields while reducing carbon emissions. Studies have shown that planting a sequence of pulse durum wheat every 3 years yielded 13% more wheat and reduced the carbon footprint of the wheat by 34%. This is because farmers used less fertilizer and fuel, resulting in fewer emissions. Conclusion. The cultivation of pulses has several advantages, including their high nutritional value, ability to improve soil health, and contribution to sustainable agriculture. By promoting the cultivation and consumption of pulses, we can help address issues such as malnutrition, food insecurity, and environmental degradation. It is crucial that we continue to support the cultivation of pulses to achieve a healthier and more sustainable future. Q7. Petroleum refineries are not necessarily located nearer to crude oil-producing areas, particularly in many of the developing countries. Explain its implications. 250 words, 15 marks answer approach. Introduction. Write briefly about petroleum. Body. Discuss the advantages and disadvantages of petroleum industries. A conclusion. Summary of the answer with futuristic approach. Introduction. Petroleum, a natural resource found underground, is extracted from wells and then refined into various types of fuels using fractional distillation to separate its components. Oil refineries are often situated far from crude oil-producing areas, particularly in developing countries. Body. Benefit of refineries near oil resources. Refineries located close to crude oil sources can reduce transportation costs and ensure a steady supply of crude oil, lowering the cost of final products and increasing profitability. Refineries need access to transportation infrastructure like pipelines, railways, and highways to transport their products to customers. Being located near such infrastructure can reduce transportation costs and increase efficiency. Refineries require skilled labor to operate and maintain their equipment. Being located in an area with a skilled workforce can save on labor costs and increase efficiency. Refineries located in areas with favorable regulatory environments can benefit from lower regulatory costs and fewer restrictions on their operations, resulting in increased profitability and a competitive advantage over other refineries. Refineries require a range of support services such as engineering, maintenance, and repair services. Being located in an area with a strong support services industry can save on costs and increase efficiency. Refineries can bring significant economic benefits to the communities in which they are located. They create jobs, increase tax revenue, stimulate local businesses, and provide new opportunities for investment and growth. Drawback of refineries away from the oil resource. Increased transportation costs. Refineries located far from crude oil sources require transportation of crude oil over long distances, resulting in higher transportation costs, which may ultimately increase the cost of petroleum products. Dependence on imports. Countries with refineries located far from their oil sources become increasingly dependent on imports, making them vulnerable to supply disruptions and price volatility in the global oil market. 200 Environmental impact. Long-distance transportation of crude oil also poses environmental risks, such as oil spills during transportation, which can have catastrophic consequences for ecosystems and human populations. Lack of local benefits. Refining operations located far from crude oil-producing areas may not provide significant benefits to the local economy or employment opportunities. Energy security concerns. Relying on imports for petroleum products raises energy security concerns for countries that lack adequate domestic refining capacity, making them more vulnerable to geopolitical tensions and economic disruptions. Conclusion. The location of petroleum refineries in developing countries away from crude oil-producing areas can have various implications, including higher transportation costs, increased dependence on foreign oil, and potential environmental risks associated with transporting crude oil over long distances. Policymakers need to carefully consider these implications when planning energy infrastructure to ensure sustainable and secure energy supply chains. Q8. Answer: in what way can floods be converted into a sustainable source of irrigation and all? Whether inland navigation in India? 250 words, 15 marks approach. Introduction. Write briefly about floods. Body. Discuss how it can be converted into a sustainable source of irrigation and all-weather inland navigation in India. A conclusion. Summary of the answer with futuristic approach. Introduction. Floods have been a recurring natural disaster in India, causing loss of life and property damage. However, floods also bring with them an opportunity to harness water resources for irrigation and inland navigation. Body. Converted into a sustainable source of irrigation and all-weather inland navigation in India. Irrigation. Interbasin transfer involves moving water from areas with surplus water to those facing a shortage. India has implemented this method with projects such as the Beas-Sutlej Link, Ken-Betwa Link, and Telugu-Ganga project, which have also helped in developing inland navigation. Barrages and dams help store excess water during monsoons to prevent floods, which can then be released in a regulated manner or used for power generation. The Damodar Valley 201 Corporation is an example of this approach, which was set up in 1948 to control floods and generate power since 1953. Rainwater harvesting involves collecting and storing rainwater for future use, which can be stored in wells, tanks, or through rooftop harvesting. Countries such as China, Argentina, and Brazil practice this method to use rainwater for drinking, irrigation, and to avoid groundwater depletion. Irrigation is crucial in drought-prone areas, such as some southern Indian states like Maharashtra and Tamil Nadu. River interlinking projects and the use of barrages can transfer water to these regions, ensuring continuous agricultural growth. Interlinking of rivers so that excess water can be transferred to the areas with less water availability. Inland navigation. Floods can also be used to facilitate inland navigation in India. During the monsoon season, many rivers in India experience high water levels, making them navigable. By improving river transport infrastructure, such as building ports and terminals, it is possible to facilitate all-weather inland navigation. This can improve connectivity between different regions, reduce transportation costs, and increase trade and economic growth sustainability. To convert floods into a sustainable source of irrigation and inland navigation, it is essential to consider environmental sustainability. Water diversion. Projects must be designed to minimize ecological damage and prioritize the needs of local communities. Furthermore, infrastructure development should be carried out in a way that does not disrupt natural water flow or cause environmental degradation. Conclusion. The power of floods for irrigation and inland navigation can be an effective way to mitigate their destructive impacts and promote sustainable development in India. By investing in infrastructure such as canals and dams, we can ensure that floodwaters are efficiently and safely utilized, benefiting farmers and communities while also improving transportation networks. 2016 Q1. Answer. Discuss the concept of air mass and explain its role in macro climatic changes. 200 words, 12.5 marks approach. Introduction. Brief about Air Massachusetts. Body. Describe the role in macro climatic changes. A conclusion. Conclude your answer with the significance of air mass in macroclimate. Introduction. Air mass refers to a large body of air with uniform temperature and humidity characteristics throughout its horizontal extent. The properties of an air mass depend on its source region, which could be either continental or maritime. Body. Characteristics of air masses. Temperature. Air masses can be classified based on their temperature characteristics. Those originating from warmer regions are called tropical air masses, while those originating from colder regions are referred to as polar air masses. Humidity. The moisture content of air masses determines their humidity. Maritime air masses, originating over oceans, tend to be humid, while continental air masses, originating over land, are relatively drier. Stability. Stability refers to the tendency of an air mass to resist vertical motion. Stable air masses resist upward movement, resulting in clear skies and calmer weather conditions. Unstable air masses, on the other hand, promote vertical motion, leading to the formation of clouds, storms, and precipitation. Types of air masses. Maritime tropical, MT. These air masses form over warm oceanic regions near the equator. They are warm, humid, and carry abundant moisture. When they move inland, they often lead to convective storms and heavy rainfall. 202 Maritime polar, MP air masses originate over colder oceanic regions. They are cooler and more humid compared to continental air masses. When they move over land, they can bring cooler temperatures, fog, and precipitation. Continental tropical, CT air masses form over hot and arid regions, such as deserts. They are dry and warm, carrying little moisture. Their movement can result in hot and dry conditions, leading to increased temperatures and aridity in affected areas. Continental polar, CP air masses form over cold land masses, such as the Arctic or Siberia. They are cold and dry, leading to drops in temperature and potential snowfall when they move southward. Role of air masses in macroclimatic changes. Weather systems. Air masses interact with each other, leading to the formation of weather systems such as fronts. The collision of air masses with different temperature and humidity characteristics can create weather fronts, including cold fronts and warm fronts. These fronts bring about changes in temperature, wind patterns, and precipitation, influencing macroclimatic conditions. Storm development. Air masses serve as the primary source of energy for storm development. The collision of contrasting air masses can lead to the formation of severe storms, including thunderstorms, cyclones, and tornadoes. The movement and interaction of air masses contribute to the frequency and intensity of such storms, impacting macroclimatic patterns. Precipitation patterns. Air masses, particularly maritime air masses, play a crucial role in precipitation formation. When moist air masses encounter topographic barriers or converge with other air masses, they undergo uplift, leading to cloud formation and subsequent rainfall or snowfall. The movement of air masses over extended periods influences precipitation patterns, including rainfall distribution and intensity. Climate variability. The long-term movement and interaction of air masses contribute to climate variability. Changes in the frequency and path of air masses can result in shifts in temperature, precipitation, and wind patterns over years or decades. Conclusion. Air masses are critical elements of the Earth's atmospheric circulation, and they significantly influence macroclimatic changes. By studying air masses' properties and trajectories, scientists can predict and forecast changes in weather patterns, such as the onset of monsoons or cyclones. Understanding air masses' behavior is vital to mitigating the adverse impacts of climate change and ensuring sustainable development. Q2. The Himalayas are highly prone to landslides. Discuss the causes and suggest suitable measures of mitigation. 200 words, 12.5 marks. Answer. Approach. Introduction. Start your answer with a brief about the Himalayas. Body. Significant of causes of landslides and its measures of mitigation in the Himalayas. Conclusion. Conclude your answer with the importance of Himalayas. Introduction. The Himalayas is the highest mountain range in the world and has 9 out of 10 of the world's highest peaks. One of the most geologically active mountain ranges in the world, it is highly prone to landslides. Landslides occur due to various reasons and can cause significant damage to life, property, and infrastructure. 203 Body. Causes of landslides in the Himalayas. Geological composition. The Himalayas are geologically unstable due to tectonic plate movements, resulting in frequent earthquakes and landslides. E.G. in 2015, a massive earthquake of magnitude 7.8 struck Nepal, causing widespread damage and loss of life. The earthquake was caused by the movement of tectonic plates beneath the Himalayan region. Topography. The steep terrain and high elevation of the Himalayas make them susceptible to landslides. E.G. in 2017, a massive landslide occurred in the Indian state of Himachal Pradesh, burying 2 buses and killing more than 50 people. The steep terrain of the region contributed to the severity of the landslide. Deforestation. The clearing of forests for agriculture and construction destabilizes the soil and increases the risk of landslides. E.G. In 2013, a landslide in Uttarakhand, India killed over 5,000 people and destroyed homes, bridges, and roads. Climate change. The melting of glaciers and changes in rainfall patterns due to climate change contribute to landslides in the region. E.G. In 2018, a massive landslide in Sikkim, India killed at least 6 people and destroyed several homes. Excessive rainfall in monsoon also leads to landslides in the Himalayas. Measures of mitigation. Early warning systems. Developing and implementing early warning systems using remote sensing, satellite imagery, and real-time monitoring of rainfall and soil moisture levels can provide advance warning of potential landslides, allowing for timely evacuation and rescue operations. Like the IMD department. Landslide zoning. Identifying and mapping high-risk landslide zones and prohibiting human activities in those areas can help prevent landslides. Afforestation. Planting trees and vegetation on the slopes can help stabilize the soil, prevent soil erosion, and reduce the risk of landslides. Slope stabilization. Stabilizing slopes using techniques such as terracing, retaining walls, and drainage systems can prevent the loss of soil and rock material due to landslides. Building codes. Developing and enforcing building codes that consider the local geological and hydrological conditions can ensure that new infrastructure is designed to withstand landslides and minimize damage. Conclusion. Landslides are a significant natural hazard in the Himalayan region, posing a severe threat to human lives and infrastructure. A collaborative effort between the government, communities, and scientists is necessary to develop sustainable solutions to reduce the risk of landslides in the region. 204Q3. The effective management of land and water resources will drastically reduce the human miseries. Explain. 200 words, 12.5 marks, answer approach. Introduction. Write briefly about natural resources. Body. Discuss how effective land management can reduce human misery in the following manner. A conclusion. Summary of the answer with futuristic approach. Introduction. Land and water resources management play a crucial role in sustainable development, poverty reduction, and alleviating human miseries. Effective management of these resources can contribute to economic growth, food security, and access to clean water, mitigating the impacts of natural disasters and climate change. Body. Effective land management can reduce human misery in the following manner. Promoting sustainable agriculture. Sustainable land management practices such as afforestation, soil conservation, and terracing can stabilize the soil, reduce erosion, and increase soil fertility. This ensures sustainable agricultural production, reduces food insecurity, and alleviates poverty. Reducing soil erosion. Poor land management practices, such as deforestation and overgrazing, can lead to soil erosion, landslides, and reduced productivity. Effective land management practices such as contour farming, terracing, and afforestation can reduce soil erosion and promote sustainable land use. Enhancing biodiversity. Biodiversity loss is a major environmental issue that can lead to ecological imbalances, reduced productivity, and the loss of ecosystem services. Effective land management practices such as conservation agriculture, agroforestry, and ecosystem restoration can enhance biodiversity, promote ecological balance, and ensure sustainable development. Mitigating climate change. Climate change is a significant threat to human lives and the environment. Effective land management practices such as afforestation, reforestation, and conservation agriculture can help mitigate climate change by sequestering carbon and reducing greenhouse gas emissions. Reducing land degradation. Land degradation is a major environmental issue that can lead to soil erosion, reduced productivity, and biodiversity loss. Effective land management practices such as conservation agriculture, soil conservation, and land restoration can reduce land degradation, promote ecological balance, and ensure sustainable development. Promoting sustainable land use planning. Land use planning is essential for ensuring sustainable development and reducing the impact of human activities on the environment. Effective land management practices such as land use zoning, environmental impact assessments, and stakeholder participation can promote sustainable land use planning, and ensure the efficient use of land resources. Conclusion: sustainable management practices such as soil conservation, watershed management, and water use efficiency can improve land productivity, conserve water resources, and reduce poverty. The effective management of land and water resources requires a collaborative effort between governments, communities, and stakeholders to ensure equitable access, conservation, and sustainable use of these resources. Q4. The South China Sea has assumed great geopolitical significance in the present context. Comment: 200 words, 12.5 marks. Answer: approach. Introduction: write in brief about the South China Sea. Body: significant or significance of South China Sea. Conclusion: conclude your answer with the importance of the South China Sea. 205 Introduction. The South China Sea has become a significant geopolitical hotspot due to its strategic location. The region is home to more than 200 small islands, coral reefs, and atolls that are claimed by China, Taiwan, Vietnam, the Philippines, Malaysia, and Brunei. The dispute over territorial claims, freedom of navigation, and natural resources has raised tensions among regional and global powers. Body: significance of South China Sea. Territorial claims. The territorial claims in the South China Sea have been a long-standing issue, with several countries claiming exclusive economic zones, EEZs, and rights over the islands and resources. China's claim over the majority of the South China Sea, marked by the 9-dash line, has been contested by other countries and has led to tensions in the region. Strategic significance. The South China Sea's strategic location has made it a crucial sea route for trade and energy transportation, connecting major economies such as China, Japan, South Korea, and Southeast Asian countries. The region is also home to significant oil and natural gas reserves, fisheries, and mineral resources. Geopolitical significance. The conflicting territorial claims and strategic significance of the South China Sea have led to diplomatic and military tensions between the countries involved. The United States, U.S., has increased its military presence in the region, conducting freedom of navigation operations and providing security assistance to its allies. China has responded by strengthening its maritime capabilities, building artificial islands, and asserting its territorial claims. Environmental concerns. The South China Sea is facing environmental challenges due to pollution, overfishing, and coral reef destruction. These issues have threatened the region's marine biodiversity and the livelihoods of millions of people who depend on its resources. Conclusion. The South China Sea's geopolitical significance is due to its location as a vital trade route, its rich natural resources, and the competing territorial claims among nations in the region. To ensure peace, stability, and sustainable development, a diplomatic and cooperative approach is necessary to resolve disputes and promote regional cooperation. Q5. Answer: major cities of India are becoming vulnerable to flood conditions. Discuss. 200 words, 12.5 marks. Approach. Introduction. Start your answer with data or report. Body. Significant causes of flood and impact of flood on major cities. A conclusion. Summary of the answer with futuristic approach. Introduction. India suffered a total loss of $3.2 billion from flooding. The country faced heavy rains and flash floods during the monsoon season between June and September. Major cities in India are witnessing an increase in flood-related disasters, primarily due to rapid urbanization, encroachment of natural drainage systems, and climate change. Example: floods in Mumbai, Delhi, etc. 206 Body. Causes of flooding in major cities. Rapid urbanization. Rapid urbanization has led to the expansion of cities into flood-prone areas, such as wetlands, lakes, and riverbanks, disrupting the natural drainage systems and aggravating flooding like Putnam. Encroachment of natural drainage systems. Encroachment of natural drainage systems, such as rivers and streams, for construction and development purposes, has reduced their carrying capacity and increased flood risk. Like Vanarash, poor urban planning. Poor urban planning and inadequate infrastructure, including drainage systems, stormwater management, and flood protection measures, exacerbate flood damage. Climate change. Climate change has led to changes in rainfall patterns, increased intensity of rainfall, and sea level rise, leading to higher flood risks in coastal areas and river deltas. Impact of flooding on major cities. Damage to infrastructure. Floods cause severe damage to roads, bridges, buildings, and other infrastructure, leading to significant economic losses. Public health. Floods can cause outbreaks of waterborne diseases, leading to public health emergencies. Displacement of people. Floods can displace people from their homes, leading to social and economic disruptions and exacerbating poverty. Environmental degradation. Floods can cause soil erosion, sedimentation, and loss of biodiversity, leading to long-term environmental degradation like Northern Bihar. Integrated water management. An integrated approach to water management, including rainwater harvesting, groundwater recharge, and improved wastewater management, can reduce flooding and promote sustainable water use. Green infrastructure. Developing green infrastructure such as parks, wetlands, and green roofs can help absorb rainwater and reduce flood risk. Improved urban planning. Improved urban planning, including flood mapping, land use regulations, and resilient infrastructure design, can mitigate flood damage. 207 Early warning systems. Developing early warning systems and emergency response plans can help reduce the loss of life and property during floods. Climate adaptation measures. Climate adaptation measures, such as sea level rise projections and coastal protection measures, can help reduce flood risk in coastal cities. Conclusion. The vulnerability of major Indian cities to floods is a significant challenge that requires immediate attention. Strategies such as improving drainage systems, managing land use patterns, and implementing flood mitigation measures can reduce the impacts of flooding in urban areas. A coordinated effort between government authorities, communities, and stakeholders is necessary to develop sustainable solutions to address this critical issue. Q6. Answer. Present an account of the Indus Water Treaty and examine its ecological, economic, and bilateral relation. 200 words, 12.5 marks approach. Introduction. Brief about Indus Water Treaty. A body. Discuss about the ecological, economic implications and bilateral relations of Indus Water Treaty. Conclusion. Conclude your answer with the significant role of the Indus Water Treaty. Introduction. The Indus Water Treaty is a bilateral water sharing agreement signed between India and Pakistan in 1960 to share the waters of the Indus River and its tributaries. The treaty provides for the allocation of the river waters between the two countries and regulates the construction of dams and other water-related infrastructure on the river. Body. Ecological implications. The Indus Water Treaty has had significant ecological implications, particularly for the downstream areas in Pakistan. The construction of dams and barrages by India has resulted in reduced water flows downstream, leading to degradation of ecosystems, loss of biodiversity, and reduced fish populations. Economic implications. The treaty has also had significant economic implications for both India and Pakistan. The treaty's provisions have enabled the development of hydroelectric power projects, which have provided India with significant electricity generation capacity. However, the treaty has also resulted in disputes over the sharing of the river waters, which has impacted economic growth and development in the region. Bilateral relations. The Indus Water Treaty has been a significant factor in the bilateral relations between India and Pakistan. While the treaty has been successful in managing water resources between the two countries, it has also been a source of contention and disputes. Recent tensions between the two countries have led to concerns about the treaty's future, which could have significant geopolitical implications in the region. 208 Conclusion. The Indus Water Treaty has played a significant role in managing the water resources of the Indus River system and preventing conflicts between India and Pakistan. However, ecological, economic, and bilateral relations aspects must be carefully considered to ensure sustainable development and equitable sharing of resources. Q7. Answer. Enumerate the problem and prospects of inland water transport in India. 200 words, 12.5 marks approach. Introduction. Brief about inland water transport. Body. Discuss about the problems and prospects of inland water transport in India. Conclusion. Conclude your answer with a futuristic approach. Introduction. Inland water transport, IWT, is a crucial mode of transportation in India that can provide a cost-effective, energy-efficient, and environmentally sustainable alternative to road and rail transport. It remains underutilized at a share of 2% in India's model mix. Body. Problems of inland water transport in India. Infrastructure. The lack of adequate infrastructure such as ports, terminals, and navigational aids hinders the growth of IWT in India. Limited connectivity. The limited connectivity of IWT with other modes of transport, such as road and rail, makes it less competitive and reduces its potential for intermodal transport. Maintenance. The inadequate maintenance of waterways, vessels, and related infrastructure reduces the efficiency and safety of IWT. Inefficient regulatory framework. The complex regulatory framework, overlapping jurisdictions, and bureaucratic hurdles hinder the development of IWT in India. Environmental issues like pollution, biodiversity, and floods in the river system. Prospects of inland water transport in India. Economic benefits. IWT has the potential to provide cost-effective, energy-efficient, and environmentally sustainable transportation for bulk cargo and passengers, particularly in the hinterland regions. Employment opportunities. The growth of IWT can create employment opportunities in the transport, logistics, and related sectors, particularly in the rural areas. Integration with coastal shipping. The integration of IWT with coastal shipping can enhance connectivity, reduce congestion, and promote intermodal transport in India. Environmental benefits. IWT is a low-carbon mode of transport that can reduce greenhouse gas emissions and air pollution, contributing to India's sustainable development goals. Conclusion. Inland water transport in India has both challenges and opportunities, such as developing infrastructure, enhancing the regulatory framework, and increasing investment, which can help realize the sector's potential. A strategic approach that promotes sustainable development, private sector participation, and cooperation among stakeholders is necessary to maximize the prospects of inland water transport in India. Q8. In what way micro-watershed development projects help in water conservation in drought-prone and semi-arid regions of India? 200 words, 12.5 marks answer. Approach. Introduction. Start your answer with importance of micro-watershed development project. Body. Discuss the micro-watershed development project role in water conservation in drought-prone and semi-arid regions. Conclusion. Conclude your answer with a futuristic approach. 209 Introduction. Micro-watershed development refers to the holistic approach of managing small-scale watersheds to promote sustainable land and water resource management. It involves implementing conservation measures, land use planning, and community participation for improved water availability and soil conservation. Body. Micro-watershed development project role in water conservation in drought-prone and semi-arid regions. Soil and water conservation. Micro-watershed development projects focus on soil and water conservation through measures such as contour bunding, check dams, and water harvesting structures. This helps in reducing soil erosion and increasing water retention in the soil. Rainwater harvesting. These projects promote rainwater harvesting, which helps to recharge groundwater levels and increase water availability during the dry season. Sustainable agriculture. Micro-watershed development projects also promote sustainable agricultural practices that conserve water and reduce water use, such as crop diversification, organic farming, and efficient irrigation methods. Community participation. These projects involve local communities in the planning and implementation process, creating a sense of ownership and promoting sustainability. Livelihood improvement. The projects provide livelihood opportunities through the development of alternative income-generating activities such as horticulture, forestry, and livestock rearing, which are less water-intensive. Conclusion. Micro-watershed development projects have proven to be effective in conserving water resources in drought-prone and semi-arid regions of India. The projects have helped to improve soil health, increase groundwater recharge, and provide an additional source of water for irrigation and domestic use. The success of these projects depends on proper planning, community participation, and sustainable management practices. 2015 Q1. Explain the factors responsible for the origin of ocean currents. How do they influence regional climates, fishing, and navigation? 200 words, 12.5 marks answer. Approach. Introduction. Brief about ocean currents. Body. Discuss the factors responsible for the origin of ocean currents. A conclusion. Conclude your answer with the role in shape of the earth and resources. Introduction. Ocean currents are massive and continuous movements of water within the Earth's oceans. These currents are driven by various factors, including wind, temperature, and salinity differences, and have a significant influence on regional climates, fishing, and navigation. Body. Factors responsible for the origin of ocean currents. Surface water is driven by winds, generating surface currents that flow in specific directions. The intensity and direction of these winds influence the speed and direction of ocean currents. Differences in ocean water density and salinity are crucial factors in the origin of ocean currents. Denser water sinks and moves as undercurrents, while lighter water moves towards denser water as surface currents. The rotation of the Earth creates a Coriolis force that affects the direction of water movement. The presence of bays, estuaries, and other coastal features can influence the speed and direction of currents, leading to the formation of eddies and gyres. 210. The movement of water through the oceans is slowed by friction, generating currents. The frictional force between water layers also plays a role in the formation of ocean currents. Factors affecting the origin of ocean currents. Planetary winds. Primary cause of ocean currents, driving surface water and generating specific flow directions influenced by wind intensity and direction. Density and salinity differences. Variances in density and salinity create variations in water movement. Denser water sinks, forming undercurrents, while lighter water moves as surface currents toward denser water. Rotation of the Earth. Earth's rotation creates Coriolis force, impacting water movement. Northern hemisphere currents deflect to the right, while southern hemisphere currents deflect to the left, leading to circular current patterns. Coastline shape. Coastal features such as bays and estuaries affect currents, influencing their speed and direction and causing the formation of eddies and gyres. Frictional force. Friction slows water movement, generating currents as adjacent fluid layers move at different velocities. Frictional force between water layers also contributes to the formation of ocean currents. Factor that affect the regional climates, fishing and navigation. Influence on regional climates. Ocean currents play a crucial role in shaping regional climates. Warm currents can bring milder temperatures to coastal areas, while cold currents can cool nearby regions. They can also affect the distribution of precipitation, leading to variations in rainfall patterns and influencing the formation of coastal fog and cloud cover. Impact on fishing. Ocean currents significantly influence fish migration patterns and the availability of nutrients. Upwelling zones, where cold, nutrient-rich water rises to the surface, create favorable conditions for phytoplankton growth, supporting thriving ecosystems and attracting fish. Fishermen often target areas influenced by upwelling for productive fishing grounds. Navigation. Knowledge of ocean currents is vital for navigation, especially for mariners and sailors. Currents can impact ship routes, travel times, and fuel consumption. Understanding the direction and strength of ocean currents helps optimize navigation, allowing ships to take advantage of favorable currents for faster and more efficient voyages. Conclusion. Ocean currents play a crucial role in shaping the Earth's climate, as well as providing important resources for human activities such as fishing and navigation. Understanding the factors that drive these currents is essential for predicting and managing their impacts on coastal communities and the global environment. 211Q2. Answer. Smart cities in India cannot sustain without smart villages. Discuss this statement in the backdrop of rural-urban integration. 200 words, 12.5 marks approach. Introduction. Start your answer with data and importance of village. Body. Discuss the benefits and challenges of rural-urban integration. A conclusion. Summary of the answer with futuristic approach. Introduction. 31% of India's population live in cities and generate 36% of the nation's economic activity. India's Smart Cities mission aims to develop 100 smart cities across the country by 2022. The success of this mission depends not only on the development of urban areas, but also on the integration of rural and urban areas. Smart cities in India cannot sustain without smart villages, as rural-urban integration is essential for achieving sustainable development. Body. Need for smart villages. Smart villages are rural areas that use technology and innovation to enhance their economic, social, and environmental sustainability. India's rural areas account for more than 60% of the population and are home to a significant portion of the country's natural resources. It is essential to invest in smart villages to ensure inclusive and sustainable development. Benefits of rural-urban integration. Increased economic growth. By integrating rural areas with urban areas, it is possible to leverage the strengths of both to drive economic growth. Improved access to services. Smart villages can benefit from improved access to healthcare, education, and other services that are typically available in urban areas. Reduced migration. When rural areas are developed with the same level of infrastructure and technology as urban areas, it can reduce the need for people to migrate to cities in search of better opportunities. Sustainable use of natural resources. Smart villages can help to conserve natural resources by promoting sustainable agriculture and eco-friendly practices. Better governance. Rural-urban integration can lead to better governance, as it enables the sharing of knowledge and resources between urban and rural areas. Challenges of rural-urban integration. Infrastructure. Developing infrastructure in rural areas can be expensive and challenging due to the lack of resources and the difficulty of reaching remote areas. Technology. Access to technology and internet connectivity is limited in many rural areas, which can hinder the implementation of smart village initiatives. Capacity building. The lack of skills and knowledge among rural populations can be a barrier to the implementation of smart village initiatives. Examples of smart villages in India: Punzari, Gujarat; Hiware Bazar, Maharashtra; Mandapathar, Tamil Nadu. Conclusion: the development of smart cities in India cannot sustain without the development of smart villages. Rural-urban integration is essential for achieving sustainable development in the country. The needs of rural areas, smart city initiatives can ensure that the benefits of urban development are spread more widely, leading to inclusive and equitable growth across the country. Q3. What is the economic significance of the discovery of oil in the Arctic Sea and its possible environmental consequences? 200 words, 12.5 marks. Answer approach. Introduction. Start your answer with data and importance. A body. Discuss the advantages and disadvantages of Arctic oil reserves. A conclusion. Summary of the answer with futuristic approach. 212 Introduction. Arctic oil can be found both on and offshore, but the vast majority, an estimated 84%, is offshore. The Arctic Sea has the potential to transform the global energy market. The economic benefits of this discovery must be weighed against the potential environmental consequences of extracting and transporting oil in this sensitive ecosystem. Body positive implications: increased oil supply. The Arctic region is estimated to hold significant oil reserves, and the discovery of oil in the Arctic Ocean could increase global oil supply, potentially reducing oil prices. Economic growth. The development of infrastructure, connectivity, and the extraction of oil in the Arctic could create jobs and stimulate economic growth in countries with Arctic coastlines, like Russia, Canada, and Norway. Diversification of energy sources. Access to Arctic oil could reduce dependence on oil from other regions, providing a more diverse energy mix for countries and enhancing energy security. Negative implications. Environmental risks. The exploration and extraction of oil in the Arctic pose significant environmental risks, including oil spills, pollution, and damage to the fragile Arctic ecosystem. Any accidents could have severe and long-lasting impacts on marine life, birds, and other wildlife in the area. Climate change. The extraction of fossil fuels, including Arctic oil, contributes to greenhouse gas emissions and climate change. As the urgency of reducing emissions and limiting global warming grows, exploiting Arctic oil reserves may not be a sustainable long-term solution for energy security and economic growth. 213 Geopolitical tensions. Access to Arctic oil reserves could exacerbate geopolitical tensions between Arctic countries and could lead to conflicts over oil reserves and shipping routes. Conclusion: the discovery of oil reserves in the Arctic Sea could have significant economic benefits. It is essential to consider the potential environmental consequences carefully. Developing sustainable and responsible methods for extracting and transporting oil in this region is crucial to ensure that the economic benefits are balanced with protecting the delicate Arctic ecosystem for future generations. Q4. Mumbai, Delhi, and Kolkata are the three megacities of the country, but the air pollution is a much more serious problem in Delhi as compared to the other two. Why is this so? 200 words, 12.5 marks. Answer approach. Introduction. Define air pollution and impact on cities. Body. Discuss the factors responsible for air pollution. A conclusion. Conclude your answer with a summary of the answer with a futuristic approach. Introduction. Delhi has been consistently ranked as one of the most polluted cities in the world. In 2022, it was listed as the fourth most polluted city in the world, according to ICAO's World Air Quality Report. Air pollution is contamination of the indoor or outdoor environment by any chemical, physical, or biological agent. Body. Mumbai, Delhi, and Kolkata are the three most populous cities in India, and all three face significant air pollution challenges. Delhi's air pollution problem is more severe than the other two cities. Significant reasons: geographical location. Delhi is situated in a landlocked area, with no nearby water bodies, while Mumbai and Kolkata are coastal cities. This geographic location of Delhi exacerbates the impact of pollution due to the absence of a natural outlet for pollutants. Vehicular traffic. Delhi has a higher number of private vehicles compared to Mumbai and Kolkata. The high traffic density coupled with outdated public transportation infrastructure results in heavy traffic congestion, leading to more emissions. Industrialization. Delhi has a more significant number of small-scale industries and factories, which burn fossil fuels, emitting pollutants into the air. Mumbai and Kolkata have industrialized areas located outside the city, which reduces the impact of pollution on the city's air. Agricultural residue burning. The practice of burning agricultural residue in the nearby states of Delhi is another major contributor to the city's air pollution. Example: stubble burning in Punjab and Haryana. Conclusion: Mumbai, Delhi, and Kolkata face significant air pollution challenges. Delhi's problem is more severe due to several factors, including its geography, weather patterns, and urbanization trends. Delhi's air pollution problem will require a multifaceted approach that considers both short-term and long-term solutions to improve air quality and protect public health. Q5. Answer: India is well endowed with fresh water resources. Critically examine why it still suffers from water scarcity. 200 words, 12.5 marks approach. Introduction. Start your answer with data or report. Body. Discuss the reasons for water scarcity in India. A conclusion. Summary of the answer with futuristic approach. 214 Introduction. India experiences an average precipitation of 1,170 millimeters per year, or about 4,000 cubic kilometers of rain annually, or about 1,720 cubic meters of fresh water per person every year. India accounts for 18% of the world population and about 4% of the world's water resources. Despite this abundance, the country continues to face water scarcity, particularly in arid and semi-arid regions. Body. Reasons for water scarcity in India. Unequal distribution. The states of Uttarakhand, Himachal Pradesh, and the northeastern states of India have abundant water resources, while the arid regions of Rajasthan, Gujarat, and parts of Maharashtra face severe water scarcity. Increasing demand. Cities like Bangalore, Chennai, and Hyderabad are experiencing rapid urbanization and population growth, leading to increased demand for water. Overexploitation of groundwater. The states of Punjab, Haryana, and parts of Uttar Pradesh are known for intensive agriculture practices that rely heavily on groundwater, leading to the depletion of aquifers. Unsustainable agricultural practices. Monocropping, fertilizers flow in the water bodies, is polluting the water resources. Climate change. The states of Maharashtra, Karnataka, and Tamil Nadu have been affected by prolonged droughts in recent years, leading to water scarcity. Poor water management. The state of Bihar has poor irrigation infrastructure and practices, leading to inefficient use of water resources and exacerbating the problem of water scarcity. Conclusion. India has abundant freshwater resources. The country's water scarcity problem is due to several factors, including inefficient water use, population growth, rapid urbanization, climate change, and poor water management practices. India's water scarcity challenges will require a multifaceted approach that considers both short-term and long-term solutions to improve water management, protect freshwater resources, and ensure water security for all. Q6. The state of Jammu and Kashmir, Himachal Pradesh, and Uttarakhand are reaching the limits of ecological carrying capacity due to tourism. Critically evaluate. 200 words, 12.5 marks answer approach. Introduction. Write data or importance of tourism. Body. Discuss the challenges of ecological carrying capacity due to tourism. A conclusion. Summary of the answer with futuristic approach. Introduction. Tourism sector contributes around 5.56% to the country's GDP. It has become a significant contributor to the economies of Jammu and Kashmir, Himachal Pradesh, and Uttarakhand. This rapid growth in tourism has also put a strain on the fragile ecosystems of these states. Body. Challenges of ecological carrying capacity due to tourism. Environmental degradation. The increasing number of tourists in Jammu and Kashmir, Himachal Pradesh, and Uttarakhand has led to significant environmental degradation, including deforestation, soil erosion, and water pollution. Tourists often indulge in activities like littering, overuse of natural resources, and degradation of fragile ecosystems, putting immense pressure on the region's carrying capacity. The construction of hotels, resorts, and other tourist infrastructure has often led to the destruction of natural habitats, leading to significant biodiversity loss. Pollution in the region leads to clogging of water bodies. Infrastructure strain. The rapid growth of tourism in Jammu and Kashmir, Himachal Pradesh, and Uttarakhand has put immense strain on the region's infrastructure, leading to increased congestion, traffic jams, and overcrowding. 215, it has led to increased air and noise pollution, affecting the quality of life for local residents and tourists alike. The inadequate supply of basic services such as water, sanitation, and waste management has led to further environmental degradation and public health challenges. Social and cultural impacts. The rapid growth of tourism in Jammu and Kashmir, Himachal Pradesh, and Uttarakhand has also had significant social and cultural impacts, with the influx of tourists leading to changes in local lifestyles, values, and traditions. The commodification of local culture and traditions has led to cultural homogenization, leading to the loss of cultural diversity and authenticity. Conclusion. The increasing pressure of tourism on the natural resources of Jammu and Kashmir, Himachal Pradesh, and Uttarakhand is a cause of concern. Challenge requires a collaborative effort between the government, tourism industry, and local communities to adopt sustainable tourism practices and protect the natural heritage of these states. Q7. Answer: how far do you agree that the behavior of the Indian monsoon has been changing due to humanizing landscape? Discuss. 200 words, 12.5 marks approach. Introduction. Write the importance of Indian monsoon. Body. Discuss the changed behavior of the Indian monsoon. A conclusion. Summary of the answer with futuristic approach. Introduction. The Indian monsoon, one of the most significant weather phenomena in South Asia, is critical for the country's agriculture, economy, and livelihoods. With climate change and human activities, the monsoon pattern has changed. There is increasing evidence to suggest that human activities are affecting the behavior of the Indian monsoon. Land use changes. Human-induced alterations in the landscape that could impact the Indian monsoon are land use changes. Agricultural expansion, deforestation have altered the land surface and vegetation cover, which could impact the atmospheric moisture balance and influence the behavior of the monsoon. E.g. the Western Ghats and Northeast India has affected the local climate and monsoon patterns. Deforestation in the Amazon rainforest has also been linked to changes in the South American monsoon air pollution. The rapid industrialization and urbanization in cities like Delhi have led to severe air pollution, with high levels of particulate matter and pollutants. This pollution can affect the monsoon by altering cloud formation processes and reducing rainfall, as observed in studies linking air pollution with reduced precipitation over the Indo-Gangetic Plain. Climate change. Climate change, primarily driven by greenhouse gas emissions from human activities, is also likely to influence the behavior of the Indian monsoon. Rising temperatures, altered precipitation patterns, and changing weather patterns could have significant impacts on the timing, intensity, and duration of the monsoon. E.g. research suggests that increased warming over the Indian Ocean and decreased temperature gradients between land and ocean can lead to changes in the monsoon circulation, resulting in altered rainfall patterns and prolonged dry spells. Conclusion. Indian monsoon is a complex weather phenomenon influenced by several natural and human factors. There is growing evidence that human activities are changing the monsoon's behavior. These challenges require a coordinated effort between policymakers, scientists, and local communities to adopt sustainable land use practices and mitigate the impacts of climate change to protect the Indian monsoon's stability and predictability. 216-2014Q1. Bring out the relationship between the shrinking Himalayan glaciers and the symptoms of climate change in the Indian subcontinent. 150 words, 10 marks answer approach. Introduction. Write the importance of Himalayan glaciers. Body. Discuss the symptoms of climate change in the Indian subcontinent. A conclusion. Summary of the answer with futuristic approach. Introduction. The Himalayan glaciers are one of the most important freshwater resources in the Indian subcontinent and their rapid shrinking has become a cause of concern for the region. There is growing evidence to suggest that this phenomenon is linked to the symptoms of climate change that are becoming increasingly prevalent in the Indian subcontinent. Body. Symptoms of climate change in the Indian subcontinent. Water scarcity. The shrinking Himalayan glaciers are contributing to water scarcity in the Indian subcontinent. The Ganga, Brahmaputra, and Indus river systems rely on the Himalayan glaciers for their water supply and are showing signs of reduced flow and lower water levels, leading to water shortages and conflicts. Changing weather patterns. The melting of the Himalayan glaciers is also altering the region's weather patterns, leading to more extreme weather events like floods, landslides, and droughts. They have significant impacts on the region's agriculture, economy, and livelihoods. Melting permafrost. The melting of the Himalayan glaciers is also contributing to the melting of permafrost in the region. The melting of permafrost is releasing large amounts of methane and other greenhouse gases, further exacerbating climate change. Ecosystem disruption. The shrinking Himalayan glaciers are also disrupting the region's ecosystems. As glaciers melt, they release sediment and debris, altering the flow of rivers 217 and affecting the habitat of several aquatic species. The loss of glaciers is also leading to the disappearance of several alpine flora and fauna, affecting biodiversity in the region. Geopolitical tensions. The shrinking Himalayan glaciers have also led to increased geopolitical tensions in the region. Countries in the Indian subcontinent are competing for water resources, leading to conflicts over the sharing of rivers that originate from the Himalayan glaciers. Disasters like landslides, glacier lakes outbursts, avalanches, etc. Conclusion. The shrinking Himalayan glaciers and the symptoms of climate change in the Indian subcontinent are closely interlinked. This challenge requires a coordinated effort between policymakers, scientists, and local communities to adopt sustainable practices and mitigate the impacts of climate change to protect the region's freshwater resources and prevent adverse consequences for the local communities. Q2. Why did the Green Revolution in India virtually bypass the eastern region despite fertile soil and good availability of water? 150 words, 10 marks answer, approach. Introduction. Brief about the Green Revolution. Body. Discuss factors that contribute to the Green Revolution. Conclusion. Conclude your answer with a futuristic approach. Introduction. The Green Revolution, initiated in the 1960s, brought a significant transformation in the agricultural sector in India. This revolution virtually bypassed the eastern region of India, despite the availability of fertile soil and water resources. Body. Factors that led to the Green Revolution bypassing the northeastern region of India. Lack of irrigation infrastructure. One of the main reasons for the Green Revolution's limited impact in the eastern region was the lack of adequate irrigation infrastructure. The region had fertile soil and good availability of water. There was little investment in irrigation systems, leading to lower yields and less efficient use of resources. Poor agricultural inputs. In the eastern region was the lack of access to quality agricultural inputs, such as high-yielding varieties of seeds, fertilizers, and pesticides. This was compounded by a lack of awareness among farmers about the benefits of using such inputs, leading to low adoption rates. Fragmented land holdings. The eastern region also suffered from a fragmented land holding pattern, with small and marginal farmers owning most of the land. This made it difficult to achieve economies of scale, leading to low productivity and inadequate returns on investment. Lack of political will. Lack of political will to invest in the eastern region's agriculture sector was a significant contributing factor to the Green Revolution's failure to take root in the region. Policymakers prioritized other regions with more significant political clout and focused less on the eastern region. Poor infrastructure. Instability in the region and connectivity issues. Conclusion. Despite the availability of fertile soil and water resources, the Green Revolution virtually bypassed the eastern region of India due to several factors, including lack of infrastructure, fragmented landholding, inadequate research and development, and policy neglect. Challenges require a concerted effort between the government, research institutions, and local communities to develop and implement suitable policies and programs to improve agricultural productivity and support the development of the region. Q3. Account for the change in the spatial pattern of the iron and steel industry in the world. 150 words, 10 marks, answer 218 approach. Introduction. Start your answer with importance of the iron and steel industry. Body. Explore some of the factors that contributed to some changes. A conclusion. Summary of the answer with futuristic approach. Introduction. The iron and steel industry has been one of the most important and strategic industries in the world since the Industrial Revolution. The spatial pattern of the industry has changed significantly over time. Body. Reasons of change in spatial pattern in iron industry. Technological innovations. Significant factors driving the change in the spatial pattern of the iron and steel industry has been technological innovation. The development of new technologies and production processes. It has become possible to locate iron and steel plants closer to raw material sources, reducing transportation costs and improving efficiency. Globalization. The process of globalization has a significant impact on the iron and steel industry's spatial pattern. The industry has become increasingly integrated globally, with companies locating production facilities in countries with lower labor costs and fewer environmental regulations. Shifts in resource availability. Changes in resource availability have also contributed to the change in the iron and steel industry's spatial pattern. Example. The decline in iron ore reserves in some regions has led to companies locating production facilities in other regions with more abundant resources. Government policies. Government policies have also played a significant role in shaping the spatial pattern of the iron and steel industry. Example, governments may offer subsidies or tax breaks to attract iron and steel producers to their regions, or impose environmental regulations that make certain regions less attractive for production. Conclusion. The spatial pattern of the iron and steel industry in the world has changed due to various factors such as shifting demand patterns, availability of raw materials, and advancements in technology. The industry continues to evolve, and further changes are likely in the future. Q4. Critically evaluate the various resources of the oceans which can be harnessed to meet the resource crisis in the world. 150 words, 10 marks answer approach. Introduction. Write about the resources of the oceans. A body. Challenges and solution of the ocean's resources. A conclusion. Summary of the answer with futuristic approach. Introduction. The oceans represent a vast source of potential resources that can be harnessed to address the resource crisis facing the world. These resources include energy from waves, tides, and currents, as well as minerals and biotechnology products derived from marine organisms. The sustainable exploitation of these resources requires careful consideration of environmental impacts and effective governance. Body. Resources of the oceans that can be harnessed. Renewable energy. The oceans are a significant source of renewable energy, particularly from offshore wind and wave energy. The development of offshore wind turbines and wave energy converters has the potential to meet a significant proportion of global energy needs. Challenges, like high cost of installation and the impact on marine ecosystems. Fishing and aquaculture. 219 Fishing and aquaculture are essential sources of food and income for millions of people worldwide. The oceans are home to a vast array of fish and shellfish species that can be sustainably harvested or farmed. Challenges. Overfishing, pollution, and climate change pose significant threats to these resources. It is crucial to manage these resources sustainably to ensure their long-term viability. Minerals. The oceans are also a potential source of minerals such as manganese, cobalt, and nickel, which are essential for the production of high-tech devices such as smartphones and electric vehicles. The extraction of these minerals from the ocean floor, known as deep-sea mining, is a relatively new industry with significant environmental risks, such as habitat destruction and the release of toxic chemicals. Biotechnology. The oceans are home to a vast array of unique organisms with potential applications in biotechnology, including the development of new drugs and other products. Challenges. The exploitation of these resources raises ethical and environmental concerns, and there is a need for careful regulation and management to ensure their sustainable use. Desalination. Freshwater resources become increasingly scarce in some parts of the world. Desalination of seawater has become a critical source of drinking water. Challenges. Desalination is energy-intensive and can have adverse environmental impacts. Conclusion. The oceans possess a wealth of resources that can be harnessed to address the resource crisis in the world. There are significant challenges associated with their exploitation, including environmental concerns, technical difficulties, and governance issues. A comprehensive and sustainable approach is necessary to unlock the full potential of ocean resources while safeguarding the health of the ocean ecosystem. Q5. How does India see its place in the economic space of rising natural resource-rich Africa? 150 words, 10 marks answer approach. Introduction. Start your answer with India relations with Africa. Body. Discuss the economic space of rising natural resource-rich Africa. A conclusion. Summary of the answer with futuristic approach. Introduction. India's relations with Africa have been traditionally strong, dating back to the days of India's independence movement. With Africa's increasing importance as a strategic partner, India has been keen to expand its presence and influence in the continent, including in the natural resource-rich areas. Body. Economic space of rising natural resource-rich Africa. Strategic partnership. India views Africa as a strategic partner and has been engaging with the continent on multiple fronts, including economic, political, and social. India has been providing technical and financial assistance to African countries, with a focus on infrastructure development, capacity building, and human resource development. Natural resources. Africa is rich in natural resources, including minerals, oil, and gas. India, as a rapidly growing economy, needs access to these resources to fuel its own growth. India has been investing in the exploration and development of natural resources in Africa. Trade and investment. 220 India is Africa's third largest trading partner, and bilateral trade has been increasing steadily. India has been investing in various sectors in Africa, including agriculture, mining, infrastructure, and energy. Cooperation on regional and global issues. India and Africa have been cooperating on various regional and global issues, including climate change, peace and security, and UN reforms. India has been supporting African countries in their efforts to achieve sustainable development and has been advocating for a greater role for Africa in global governance. People-to-people contacts. India has been promoting people-to-people contacts with Africa, including through scholarships and training programs. This has helped in building goodwill and strengthening ties between India and Africa. Conclusion. India's engagement with Africa is expected to continue to deepen as it seeks to leverage the continent's vast natural resources and explore new opportunities for economic growth and development. Through partnerships and investments, India hopes to create a win-win situation for both sides, while also promoting regional stability and cooperation. Q6. Answer. Most of the unusual climatic happenings are explained as an outcome of the El Niño effect. Do you agree? 150 words, 10 marks approach. Introduction. Start your answer with significant impacts on global weather patterns. Body. Discuss the unusual climatic happenings are explained as an outcome of the El Niño effect. A conclusion. Summary of the answer with futuristic approach. Introduction. El Niño is a climate phenomenon that results from the warming of sea surface temperatures in the tropical Pacific Ocean. It can have significant impacts on global weather patterns, including changes in rainfall and temperature extremes. Some people believe that many unusual climatic events can be attributed to the El Niño effect. Body. Unusual climatic happenings are explained as an outcome of the El Niño effect. During an El Niño event, changes in atmospheric circulation patterns can lead to changes in global weather patterns, including changes in temperature and rainfall E.G. in South America. El Niño can cause heavy rainfall and flooding, damaging infrastructure and crops. The El Niño effect can have a significant impact on weather patterns around the world, including increased frequency of droughts, floods, and severe storms. E.G. in the Eastern Pacific, El Niño can cause warmer ocean temperatures and changes in wind patterns, leading to decreased upwelling of nutrients and reduced fish populations. El Niño events tend to occur irregularly, with varying frequency and intensity. Some years, the El Niño effect may be more pronounced than others, while in other years, it may not be present at all. Natural climate variability and human-induced climate change can also contribute to unusual climatic events. The El Niño effect is a recognized factor in shaping global weather 221 patterns. E.G. in the southern United States, El Niño can cause an increased frequency of severe storms and tornadoes. El Niño effect and its impact on global climate is important for predicting and managing weather-related risks, as well as developing strategies for adapting to a changing climate. E.G. in Southeast Asia and Australia, El Niño can cause droughts and wildfires, leading to crop failures and water shortages. Conclusion: El Niño can help explain certain unusual climatic events. It is important to consider other factors, such as natural climate variability and human-induced climate change. These factors can also play a role in shaping weather patterns and contributing to extreme events. A comprehensive approach that takes into account a range of factors is necessary to fully understand the complex dynamics of Earth's climate system. Q7. Why are the world's fold mountain systems located along the margins of continents? Bring out the association between the global distribution of fold mountains and the earthquakes and volcanoes. 150 words, 10 marks. Answer. Approach. Introduction. Brief about fold mountains. Body. Discuss factors association between fold mountains, earthquakes, and volcanoes. Conclusion. Conclude your answer with a summary of the answer. Introduction. Fold mountains are formed by the folding and uplift of rock layers due to tectonic plate movements. The collision of two continental plates, or the subduction of an oceanic plate beneath a continental plate, can create compressional forces that cause the Earth's crust to buckle and fold, resulting in the formation of fold mountains. Body. The world's fold mountain systems are located along the margins of continents due to the following reasons. Plate tectonics. Fold mountains are formed by the collision or convergence of tectonic plates. When continental plates collide, the intense compressional forces cause the crust to buckle, fold, and uplift, leading to the formation of mountain ranges along the plate boundaries. E.G. Himalayas. Subduction zones. Subduction zones, where one tectonic plate is forced beneath another, are common along continental margins. This process can result in the formation of volcanic arcs and accompanying fold mountains. Crustal thickening. Along continental margins, the accumulation of sedimentary layers, coupled with the collision of plates, leads to the thickening of the continental crust. This thickened crust is less buoyant, causing it to rise and form fold mountains. G. The Andes. Compression and uplift. The compression and uplift of rock layers occur along the margins of continents due to the convergence of tectonic plates. These forces cause the crust to fold and uplift, creating mountainous topography. Association between fold mountains and earthquakes. Fold mountains are formed as a result of the collision of two tectonic plates. The movement and collision of these plates can cause earthquakes, as the plates grind against each other, or one plate is forced beneath the other in a process known as subduction. 222 examples. The Himalayas are located at the boundary between the Indian Plate and the Eurasian Plate and are one of the most seismically active regions in the world. Association between fold mountains and volcanoes. Volcanoes are another common feature associated with fold mountains. As tectonic plates collide, one plate is often forced beneath the other, a process known as subduction. This can cause the mantle to melt, creating magma that rises to the surface and forms volcanoes. The Andes Mountains. Examples are located along the western coast of South America and are associated with the subduction of the Nazca Plate beneath the South American Plate. This subduction has led to the formation of a chain of volcanoes, including the active Cotopaxi and Tungurahua volcanoes in Ecuador. Conclusion. The concentration of fold mountain systems along the margins of continents can be attributed to plate tectonics, which is the theory that explains the movement of the Earth's lithosphere. The interaction of tectonic plates can lead to the formation of mountain ranges, as well as earthquakes and volcanoes. The study of these natural phenomena is crucial for understanding the geologic processes that shape the Earth's surface and for developing strategies to mitigate the potential hazards associated with earthquakes and volcanic eruptions. Q8. Explain the formation of thousands of islands in Indonesian and Philippines archipelagos. 150 words, 10 marks. Answer. Approach. Introduction. Explain what archipelago is. Body. Explain the geography and physical processes in the formation of these islands of the region. Conclusion. Conclude your answer with a summary of the answer. Introduction. The Indonesian and Philippine archipelagos are renowned for their thousands of islands. The formation of these islands is a result of complex geological processes that have taken place over millions of years. Understanding the mechanisms behind the formation of these islands is crucial for developing strategies to mitigate the potential hazards associated with natural phenomena in these regions. Body. Plate tectonics and volcanism. The role of plate tectonics. The islands of Indonesia and the Philippines are located along the Pacific Ring of Fire, a region characterized by active volcanoes and frequent earthquakes. This region is also the site of intense plate tectonic activity, where several tectonic plates collide and interact with each other. The subduction process. The islands of Indonesia and the Philippines are situated on the boundaries of several tectonic plates, including the Eurasian Plate, the Philippine Sea Plate, the Pacific Plate, and the Indo-Australian Plate. The interaction of these plates has created a zone of subduction, where the denser oceanic plate is forced beneath the less dense continental plate. Volcanic eruptions. The subduction of the oceanic plate results in the melting of rock in the Earth's mantle, which generates magma that rises to the surface and forms volcanoes. Over time, repeated volcanic eruptions can result in the accumulation of volcanic material, which can build up and eventually create new islands. 223 Sedimentation and erosion. Role of sedimentation. Volcanism is the formation of islands in the Indonesian and Philippine archipelagos that is also influenced by sedimentation and erosion. Rivers that flow into the ocean bring large amounts of sediment, which can accumulate on the ocean floor and form shallow banks or reefs. Island formation. The accumulation of sediment and organic material can lead to the formation of islands. Erosion plays a role in shaping the landscape of the archipelagos, as the forces of wind and water can erode the volcanic material and expose underlying rock formations. Sea level changes. The impact of sea level changes. Sea level changes can contribute to the formation of islands in the Indonesian and Philippine archipelagos. During times of low sea level, areas that are currently submerged can become exposed, creating new land masses. Rising sea levels. Conversely, the rising sea levels can submerge areas that were once above water, resulting in the disappearance of islands. The interplay of these various geological processes has contributed to the formation and evolution of the Indonesian and Philippine archipelagos, resulting in the diverse and complex island systems that exist today. Conclusion. The formation of islands in the Indonesian and Philippine archipelagos is the result of several geological processes, including plate tectonics, volcanism, sedimentation, erosion, and sea level changes. These processes have interacted over millions of years to create the diverse and complex island systems that exist today. Knowledge of these processes is critical for understanding the natural phenomena associated with the islands and for developing strategies to mitigate potential hazards. Q9. Answer. Tropical cyclones are largely confined to the South China Sea, Bay of Bengal, and Gulf of Mexico. Why? 150 words, 10 marks approach. Introduction. Brief about tropical cyclones. A body. Discuss the importance of geographic limitation. A conclusion. Conclude your answer with significant tropical cyclones. Introduction. Tropical cyclones, also known as hurricanes or typhoons, are severe weather events that can cause devastating damage to coastal communities. These storms are largely confined to specific regions of the world, including the South China Sea, Bay of Bengal, and Gulf of Mexico. Body. Important of geographic limitation. Warm sea surface temperature, SST. Tropical cyclones require warm ocean waters of at least 26.5 degrees Celsius to develop and strengthen. The South China Sea, Bay of Bengal, and Gulf of Mexico have warm sea surface temperatures throughout the year, making them ideal regions for the formation and strengthening of tropical cyclones. Coriolis force. The Coriolis force is a result of the Earth's rotation and causes the air to circulate around low-pressure systems, such as tropical cyclones. The Coriolis force is 224 stronger near the poles and weaker near the equator. The circulation of air around a low-pressure system is weaker in the tropics, limiting the development of tropical cyclones. Low vertical wind shear. Vertical wind shear refers to the change in wind speed and direction with height. High vertical wind shear can inhibit the development of tropical cyclones. The South China Sea, Bay of Bengal, and Gulf of Mexico have relatively low vertical wind shear, which allows tropical cyclones to develop and strengthen. Monsoonal winds. The monsoon winds in the Bay of Bengal and the South China Sea are characterized by seasonal changes in direction and strength. These winds create favorable conditions for the formation and strengthening of tropical cyclones during the summer and fall seasons. Bathymetry. The shape and depth of the ocean floor can also influence the development of tropical cyclones. The Bay of Bengal and South China Sea have shallow coastal waters, which allow for greater mixing of the ocean water and a more favorable environment for tropical cyclone formation. Conclusion. The geographic confinement of tropical cyclones to the South China Sea, Bay of Bengal, and Gulf of Mexico is due to a combination of factors, including warm ocean temperatures, favorable atmospheric conditions, and the specific geography of these regions. While these storms can cause significant damage, continued research and preparedness measures can help to minimize the impact on coastal communities. Q10. Whereas the British planters had developed tea gardens all along the Shivaliks and Lesser Himalayas from Assam to Himachal Pradesh, in effect they did not succeed beyond the Darjeeling area. Explain. 150 words, 10 marks answer approach. Introduction. Start your answer with the history of tea cultivation. Body. Discuss the planters had developed tea gardens all along the Shivaliks and Lesser. A conclusion. Summary of the answer with futuristic approach. Introduction. Tea cultivation has a long history in India, with British planters introducing the crop in the mid-19th century. Tea gardens were established along the Shivaliks and Lesser Himalayas from Assam to Himachal Pradesh. The planters did not succeed in replicating the success of Darjeeling elsewhere. Body. 225 reasons for this disparity. Geography. The geography of the Darjeeling region plays a crucial role in the success of tea cultivation. The area is situated at an altitude of 2,000 to 7,000 feet above sea level, which provides the perfect conditions for growing high-quality tea. The cool temperatures and frequent mists create a unique microclimate that is ideal for tea plants. Shivalik and Lesser Himalayas have a different geography, with lower elevations and warmer temperatures that are less suitable for tea cultivation. Soil. The soil in the Darjeeling region is also conducive to tea cultivation. The area has a diverse range of soils, including sandy loam, clay, and red soil, which are ideal for growing different varieties of tea. The soil in the Shivaliks and Lesser Himalayas is less diverse and often contains high levels of acidity, which can be detrimental to tea plants. Labor. Another factor that contributed to the success of tea cultivation in Darjeeling was the availability of skilled labor. The local population had a long history of working in the tea industry, and many were trained in the art of tea plucking and processing. The labor force in other regions was less experienced and often had to be trained from scratch. Marketing. The success of tea cultivation in Darjeeling can also be attributed to effective marketing strategies. The British planters were able to market Darjeeling tea as a premium product, commanding high prices in international markets. Conclusion. British planters established tea gardens along the Shivaliks and Lesser Himalayas from Assam to Himachal Pradesh. They were unable to replicate the success of Darjeeling. The geography, soil, labor force, and marketing strategies of the region all played a crucial role in the success of tea cultivation in Darjeeling. These factors provide valuable insights into the challenges and opportunities associated with tea cultivation in other regions of the world. 2013 Q1. Bring out the causes for the formation of heat islands in the urban habitat of the world. 100 words, 5 marks answer, approach. Introduction. Define urban heat island effect. Body. Enlist and describe the causes of urban heat island effect. Conclusion. Summary of the answer. Introduction. The urban heat island UHI effect refers to the observable occurrence of markedly higher temperatures in urban regions relative to adjacent rural areas, primarily as a result of human activities. Typically, the mean temperature in urban heat islands can be 8 to 10 degrees Celsius higher than in the surrounding rural zones. 226 Body. Causes of urban heat island effect. Heat-absorbing surfaces. Urban areas have a higher percentage of heat-absorbing surfaces, such as concrete and asphalt, which absorb and retain heat during the day and release it at night, leading to a warmer environment. E.G. in downtown areas Phoenix, Arizona, and Las Vegas, Nevada, the prevalence of concrete and asphalt results in temperatures that can be up to 10 degrees Fahrenheit, 5.6 degrees Celsius, warmer than surrounding rural areas. Reduced vegetation. Urban areas have fewer trees and vegetation compared to rural areas, which results in less shade and reduced cooling effects through evapotranspiration. E.G. The lack of trees and green spaces in urban areas like New York City's concrete jungle can result in temperatures up to 7 degrees Fahrenheit, 3.9 degrees Celsius, warmer than surrounding suburban or rural areas. Human activities. The use of air conditioning, industrial activities, and transportation in urban areas generates heat and contributes to the overall increase in temperature. E.G. Los Angeles, California. The the use of air conditioning, industrial activities, and transportation contributes to the urban heat island effect, with downtown areas reaching temperatures 5-10 degrees Fahrenheit, 2.8-5.6 degrees Celsius, warmer than surrounding areas. Urban geometry. The compact, dense, and high-rise buildings in urban areas create an urban canyon effect that traps heat, reduces air circulation, and increases temperature. E.G. Tokyo, Japan. The compact and high-rise buildings can create an urban canyon effect that traps heat and reduces air circulation, leading to temperatures up to 14 degrees Fahrenheit, 7.8 degrees Celsius, warmer than surrounding rural areas. Climate change. Urban heat island effect is expected to worsen with climate change due to the rising global temperatures, which can further exacerbate the heat island effect. E.G. Phoenix, Arizona. Projected to see increases in the number of days with temperatures over 110 degrees Fahrenheit, 43 degrees Celsius, due to rising global temperatures. Conclusion. UHI can cause various environmental and health issues, and its causes include anthropogenic heat, changes in land use, and lack of vegetation. Mitigating UHI can be achieved through strategies such as green infrastructure and urban planning. Q2. What do you understand about the theory of continental drift? Discuss the prominent evidences in its support. 100 words, 5 marks answer, approach. Introduction. Explain the continental drift theory. Body. List the evidence in support of the theory. 227 Conclusion. Summary of the answer. Introduction. The theory of continental drift was proposed by Alfred Wegener in 1912, but it was not widely accepted until the 1950s. Continental drift suggests that the Earth's continents were once joined together as a single landmass called Pangaea, which began to break apart around 200 million years ago and have been moving away from each other since then. Body. Theory based on evidence. Fit of the continents. The coastlines of many continents fit together like puzzle pieces, suggesting that they were once part of a larger landmass. Example: South American and African plate. Fossil evidence. Fossils of the same species have been found on opposite sides of oceans, indicating that the continents were once connected. Example: gold reserves in South America and Western Africa. Rock formations. Similar rock formations and mountain ranges have been found on different continents, suggesting that they were once part of the same landmass. Paleoclimate evidence. The distribution of ancient glacial deposits and coal deposits suggests that these areas were once in different climatic zones, which would only make sense if the continents were in different locations at that time. Plate tectonics. The theory of plate tectonics, which explains the movement of the Earth's crust, provides a mechanism for how the continents could have moved over time. Conclusion. The prominent evidence in support of the theory include the matching coastlines, similar geological formations on opposite sides of oceans, and the distribution of fossils across different continents. Q3. The recent cyclone on the east coast of India was called Phelan. How are tropical cyclones named across the world? Elaborate. 100 words, 5 marks answer, approach. Introduction. Brief about how tropical cyclones can be named tropical cyclones. Body. Discuss tropical cyclones are named across the world. A conclusion. Conclude your answer with a summary of the answer. 228 Introduction. Tropical cyclones are named differently across the world based on a set of guidelines established by regional meteorological agencies. The naming conventions aim to provide quick identification of storms, assist in communication, and raise awareness among people in the affected areas. Body. Tropical cyclones are named across the world: Bay of Bengal and Arabian Sea. The India Meteorological Department, IMD, names tropical cyclones in the Bay of Bengal and the Arabian Sea. They use a list of names that rotate cyclones in the Bay of Bengal and the Arabian Sea. They use a list of names that rotate every few years and include names contributed by 13 countries. Every few years and include names contributed by 13 countries. North Atlantic. The National Hurricane Center, NHC, in the United States names tropical storms and hurricanes in the North Atlantic Basin. They use a list of names that rotate storms and hurricanes in the North Atlantic Basin. They use a list of names that rotate every 6 years, and each year, they use names starting from the next letter in the alphabet every 6 years, and each year, they use names starting from the next letter in the alphabet, like Q, U, X, Y, and Z. Like Q, U, X, Y, and Z. Eastern North Pacific. The eastern North Pacific Basin includes the coastal areas of northeastern North Pacific. The eastern North Pacific Basin includes the coastal areas of North and Central America. The naming of tropical cyclones in this basin is also done by the NHC and Central America. The naming of tropical cyclones in this basin is also done by the NHC, using the same system as in the North Atlantic. Western North Pacific. The Western North Pacific Basin is the most active tropical cyclone Western North Pacific. The Western North Pacific Basin is the most active tropical cyclone basin in the world. The naming of tropical cyclones in this basin is done by the Japan Basin in the world. The naming of tropical cyclones in this basin is done by the Japan Meteorological Agency, JMA, using a list of names that approach. Introduction. Define the temperature inversion. Body. Temperature inversion can have several significant effects on weather and the environment. A conclusion. Conclude your answer with serious impacts on the environment. Introduction. Temperature inversion is a meteorological phenomenon where the normal decrease in temperature with height is reversed and the temperature increases instead of decreasing. In other words, the air near the surface of the Earth is cooler than the air above it. Body. Temperature inversion can occur due to several factors such as radiation cooling, subsidence of air, advection of warm air, and the presence of an inversion layer. Significant effects on weather and environment. Air pollution. Temperature inversion can trap pollutants in the lower atmosphere and cause smog and poor air quality, leading to respiratory problems. Fog. Temperature inversion can lead to the formation of fog and low clouds due to the cooling of moist air near the surface. According to an ICARE report, Delhi will rank 4th position in the world in 2022. Temperature. Temperature inversion can cause significant temperature differences in the air at different altitudes, which can affect temperature-sensitive crops and cause damage. Flight disruptions. Temperature inversion can cause turbulence and affect aircraft operations due to the difference in temperature and pressure. Delay in weather events. Temperature inversion can delay or prevent the formation of thunderstorms, leading to drought conditions. Conclusion. Temperature inversion is a complex meteorological phenomenon that can have serious impacts on the environment and the people living in an area. Its effects can range from air pollution to extreme weather conditions and can be challenging to predict and manage. Therefore, it is essential to understand temperature inversion and its impacts to ensure better preparedness and management of its effects. Q5. Major hot deserts in the Northern Hemisphere are located between 20-30 degrees north and on the western side of the continents. Why? 100 words, 5 marks answer approach. Introduction. Brief about location of hot desert. Body. Discuss about the various factors of geographical location. A conclusion. Conclude your answer with the formation of a hot desert. Introduction. Hot deserts are typically found in the subtropical regions of the world, with the majority located in the Northern Hemisphere. Interestingly, they are mostly located between the latitudes of 20-30 degrees north and on the western side of the continents. Body. Various factors of geographical location. Global wind patterns. The Earth's atmospheric circulation pattern, also known as the Hadley cell, plays a crucial role in the formation of deserts. The hot, moist air rises at the equator and travels towards the poles, then cools and descends around 20-30 degrees north and south of the equator, creating arid conditions in those regions. Geozizia, Libya. Rain shadow effect. Mountains on the western side of the continents act as barriers to moisture-laden winds. When these winds encounter mountains, they rise, cool, and release their moisture as rainfall. As a result, the eastern side of the mountains receives abundant rainfall, while the western side is left relatively dry, creating desert conditions. Atacama. Ocean currents. The major hot deserts are located adjacent to cold ocean currents that have a significant influence on their climate. The cold ocean currents cool the adjacent land, leading to stable atmospheric conditions that limit precipitation and create desert-like conditions. Humboldt Current, West Australian Current. Continental drift. The location of hot deserts in the Northern Hemisphere is also the result of continental drift. Millions of years ago, the continents were located differently than they are today. The current arrangement of the continents favors the formation of hot deserts in the areas mentioned above. Gobi Desert. Conclusion. The location of major hot deserts in the Northern Hemisphere is a result of complex interactions between the atmospheric circulation patterns, ocean currents, and land configurations. This unique combination of factors results in a specific set of climatic conditions that are conducive to the formation and maintenance of hot deserts in these regions. Understanding these factors is crucial for predicting and managing the impacts of desertification and global climate change. 231Q6. Bring out the causes for more frequent landslide in the Himalayas than in Western Ghat. 100 words, 5 marks answer, approach. Introduction, brief about the landslide. Body, discuss about the causes for more frequent landslides in the Himalayas than in the Western Ghats. A conclusion, conclude your answer with a summary of the answer. Introduction, landslides are a common natural phenomenon in mountainous regions, causing significant damage to property and human lives. The Himalayas and Western Ghats are two prominent mountain ranges in India. The Himalayas witness more frequent landslides than the Western Ghats. Body, causes for more frequent landslides in the Himalayas than in the Western Ghats. Geology, the Himalayas are geologically young mountains formed by the collision of the Indian and Eurasian tectonic plates. They have steep slopes, and their rocks are less stable and prone to landslides. The Western Ghats are older mountains formed by volcanic activity, and their slopes are gentler and more stable. Topography, the Himalayas have a rugged topography with deep valleys and steep hillsides that are prone to landslides. The Western Ghats have a more gentle topography with fewer steep slopes. Climate, the Himalayas experience heavy rainfall during the monsoon season, which saturates the soil and increases the likelihood of landslides. The Western Ghats receive rainfall throughout the year, but the intensity is much lower than that in the Himalayas. Vegetation, the Himalayas have sparse vegetation due to the high altitude and cold climate, which results in less soil stability and a higher risk of landslides. The Western Ghats have dense vegetation cover, which helps to stabilize the soil and reduce the risk of landslides. Human activity, human activities such as deforestation, construction of roads, and mining have destabilized the slopes in the Himalayas and increased the risk of landslides. In the Western Ghats, human activity is less intense and has had a lesser impact on the stability of the slopes. Conclusion, the Himalayas and Western Ghats are two prominent mountain ranges in India. Although both regions experience landslides, the Himalayas witness more frequent landslides than the Western Ghats. The major causes of this difference include geological factors such as the steepness of the Himalayan slopes, tectonic activity, and heavy rainfall. Q7. There is no formation of deltas by rivers of the Western Ghat. Why? 100 words, 5 marks answer, approach. Introduction, brief about formation of deltas. Body, discuss about the Western Ghats no deltas due to several reasons. A conclusion, conclude your answer with a summary of the answer. Introduction, deltas are landforms that occur at the mouth of rivers where they meet a body of standing water, sea, or lake. They are typically formed when the river deposits sediment as it flows into the standing water, creating a fan-shaped pattern of land. Body, Western Ghats no deltas due to several reasons. Steep gradient. The rivers of the Western Ghats have a steep gradient, which means that they flow rapidly and do not deposit sediment as readily as rivers with a gentler gradient. Short distance. The distance between the Western Ghats and the Arabian Sea is relatively short, so the rivers do not have enough time to deposit sediment and form a delta. 232 Rocky terrain. The terrain around the rivers in the Western Ghats is often rocky and hilly, which makes it difficult for sediment to accumulate and form a delta. Wave action. The Western Ghats are exposed to high wave action, which means that the sediment deposited at the mouth of the rivers is quickly eroded by the waves. This leads to the formation of beaches instead of deltas. Conclusion. The absence of deltas in Western Ghats rivers could be due to the steep gradient of the rivers, their relatively short length, and the fact that they often flow into estuaries rather than directly into the sea. Other factors such as high rainfall, fast-flowing water, and steep topography may also contribute to the lack of delta formation in this region. Q8. Answer: do you agree that there is a growing trend of opening new sugar mills in the southern state of India? Discuss with justification. 100 words, 5 marks approach. Introduction. Write the findings of the report. Body. Discuss the major problems and reasons for the shift of the sugar industry in North India towards southern India. Conclusion. Summary of the answer with benefits of the sugar industry futuristic approach. Introduction. India is a major player in the global sugar trade and produced 33 million metric tons of sugar in 2017/2018. The country's sugar production has been steadily increasing and is expected to surpass Brazil as the world's top sugar producer. This surplus has led to struggles for mills to pay fair wages to workers, as seen in the 2014-2015 season and recent reports from the Indian Sugar Mills Association. Body. The major problems facing the sugar industry in North India can be summarized as follows: low yield of sugarcane and a short crushing season. Fluctuating production trends, which lead to market instability. High cost of production due to factors such as rising fuel and labor costs. Regional imbalances in distribution, with some areas facing a shortage of sugarcane and others experiencing a surplus. Issues with the fair and remunerative price, FRP, and state-advised price, SAP policies, which have caused disputes between farmers and mill owners. Lack of modernization and poor management practices in some mills. Sugar content in northern sugarcane is less compared to southern states. The reasons for the shift of the sugar industry towards southern India are: better climatic conditions in coastal states that provide uniform temperature and irrigation facilities throughout the year. Higher yields, longer crushing season, and high sucrose content due to the coastal tropical conditions and moderating effect of the ocean. Proximity to ports at Chennai and Kochi that create additional opportunities for business expansion. Well-developed cooperative sector, machinery, and management of industries. Availability of alternative business models and opportunities for diversification and value addition in southern states. Way forward, the sugar sector needs capital, policy measures, and structural changes. Technological upgrades are needed in old mills to improve efficiency in Uttar Pradesh and Bihar. Revenue-sharing formulas should be introduced in all states to ensure farmers receive a share in profits. Exports should be encouraged when domestic production exceeds consumption. 233. Mills should be allowed to produce more alcohol, a higher value product with massive industrial demand. Production costs can be reduced through proper utilization of byproducts and increasing ethanol production. Conclusion. While the opening of new sugar mills in southern India may lead to increased sugar production and economic growth, it is important to consider the potential environmental impact of such development. The government should also ensure that adequate measures are in place to safeguard the interests of farmers and prevent the exploitation of labor in the sugar industry. While the trend of opening new sugar mills in the southern state of India may have its benefits, it should be carried out in a sustainable and equitable manner. Q9. Answer. Analyze the factor for highly decentralized cotton textile industry in India. 100 words, 5 marks approach. Introduction. Start your answer with data or report. A body. Discuss some of the key factors that have contributed to this decentralized nature of the industry are discussed below. A conclusion. Summary of the answer with futuristic approach. Introduction. In 2002, India stood as the third highest exporter of raw cotton globally, accounting for about 10.2% of the global exports. India's total cotton exports are estimated to be 4 million bales in 2021-22 COCPC report. India has a highly decentralized cotton textile industry with a large number of small-scale units spread across the country. Body. Some of the key factors that have contributed to this decentralized nature of the industry are discussed below. Historical legacy. The cotton textile industry in India has a long history, dating back to ancient times. The industry has traditionally been decentralized, with handloom weaving being practiced in homes and small workshops in different parts of the country. The handloom weaving industry in Varanasi. Availability of raw materials. India has a large and diverse cotton growing region, which provides easy access to raw materials for textile production. This has allowed small-scale textile units to thrive in different parts of the country. Cotton growing regions in India like Gujarat, Maharashtra, and Punjab provide easy access to raw materials for textile production. Cheap labor. The availability of cheap labor is another significant factor for the decentralized nature of the cotton textile industry. Labor-intensive operations like spinning, weaving, and dyeing can be done with relatively low levels of capital investment, making it possible for small-scale units to operate profitably. The city of Tirupur in Tamil Nadu is known for its knitwear industry and employs a large number of workers. Government policies. The Indian government has implemented policies to promote small-scale industries, including the cotton textile industry. This has led to the establishment of a large number of small-scale units across the country. E.G Technology Upgradation Fund Scheme, TUFS, provides subsidies and financial assistance for technology upgrades and modernization of textile units. Market dynamics. The Indian textile market is highly fragmented, with a large number of small players catering to different segments of the market. This has created opportunities for small-scale units to thrive in niche segments of the market. E.G The city of Surat in Gujarat is known for its synthetic textile industry, while the city of Bhilwara in Rajasthan is known for its production of handloom textiles. 234 Conclusion. The decentralization of the cotton textile industry in India is influenced by factors such as the availability of raw materials, the low capital investment required, and the prevalence of traditional textile practices. Presents challenges such as lack of economies of scale and inadequate infrastructure. Q10. With growing scarcity of fossil fuels, atomic energy is gaining more and more significance in India. Discuss the availability of raw material required for the generation of atomic energy in India and in the world. 200 words, 10 marks answer approach. Introduction. Start your answer with the importance of fossil fuel. Body. Discuss about uranium and thorium reserves in India and world and their challenges. A conclusion. Summary of the answer with futuristic approach. Introduction. India currently has a total installed nuclear power capacity of 6,780 megawatts, which accounts for around 2% of the country's total power generation capacity. The government has set a target to increase this capacity to 22,480 megawatts by 2031, with several new nuclear power plants under construction or planned for construction. Body. The increasing scarcity of fossil fuels has led to a greater reliance on nuclear energy worldwide, and India is no exception. It is crucial to examine the availability of raw materials required for the generation of atomic energy, both in India and globally. Uranium reserves. India has significant reserves of uranium, a key raw material required for the generation of atomic energy. The country is estimated to have around 70,000 tons of uranium, primarily located in the states of Jharkhand, Andhra Pradesh, and Meghalaya. The uranium reserves in India are considered to be of medium to high grade, and efforts are being made to increase uranium exploration and mining in the country. Australia, Canada, and Kazakhstan have large uranium reserves and are major producers of uranium, supplying it to countries such as the USA, France, and China. Thorium reserves. India has significant reserves of thorium, another raw material used in the generation of atomic energy. India is estimated to have around 25% of the world's thorium reserves, primarily located in the beach sands of the southern states of Tamil Nadu, Kerala, and Odisha. The country's vast thorium reserves offer significant potential for the development of a thorium-based nuclear power program. Challenges in raw material availability. India has significant reserves of uranium and thorium. There are challenges associated with the availability of these raw materials. Uranium mining in India faces several regulatory and environmental challenges, which have resulted in delays and a slower pace of exploration and mining. 235 India's thorium-based nuclear program is still in the research and development stage, and there are challenges associated with the commercial-scale deployment of thorium-based reactors. Conclusion. India has significant reserves of uranium. It still relies on imports to meet its requirements. Moreover, the production of nuclear energy raises concerns regarding the safe disposal of nuclear waste. Therefore, the development of alternative sources of energy remains a pressing need. Q11. It is said that India has substantial reserves of shale oil and gas, which can feed the needs of the country for a quarter century. However, tapping of the resource does not appear to be high on agenda. Discuss critically the availability and issues involved. 200 words, 10 marks. Answer approach. Introduction. Brief about significant reserves in India. Body. Discuss availability and issues involved in tapping of shale oil and gas in India. A conclusion. Conclude your answer with issues involved in tapping. Introduction. India is believed to have significant reserves of shale oil and gas, which could potentially meet the country's energy needs for a quarter century. Despite the potential, the tapping of these resources does not seem to be high on the agenda. Body. Availability of shale oil and gas in India. India is estimated to have significant reserves of shale oil and gas, primarily located in the Cambay, Krishna Godavari, and Kaveri basins. These reserves are estimated to be around 96 trillion cubic feet of gas and 6.1 billion barrels of oil. The extraction of shale oil and gas requires advanced drilling technologies, which are expensive and complex to deploy. The commercial viability of shale gas and oil extraction in India largely depends on the availability of cost-effective and efficient extraction technologies. India has significant reserves of coal bed methane (CBM), which can be extracted using similar techniques as shale gas. India has the fifth largest CBM reserves in the world, with an estimated reserve of 2,700 billion cubic meters. Issues involved in tapping shale oil and gas reserves in India. Despite having substantial reserves, tapping shale oil and gas reserves in India has been slow due to various reasons, including regulatory issues, environmental concerns, and lack of infrastructure. 236. The regulatory framework for shale gas extraction is not well developed, and the environmental impact of fracking and drilling operations is not fully understood. This has led to concerns about potential groundwater contamination and seismic activity. The lack of infrastructure, including pipelines, storage facilities, and processing plants, is a significant challenge in the development of shale gas and oil industry in India. This lack of infrastructure has also contributed to the slow progress of CBM extraction in the country. The cost of shale gas and oil extraction in India is also relatively high compared to other countries due to the lack of economies of scale, regulatory challenges, and lack of infrastructure. Conclusion: India has substantial reserves of shale oil and gas. There are several challenges that need to be addressed to effectively tap into these resources. These include environmental concerns, the high cost of extraction, and the need for advanced technology and infrastructure. As such, a critical evaluation of the feasibility of shale oil and gas extraction is necessary before making any decisions on their exploitation.